Well, here we go on a Friday night. It is your boy Rick Kamla with you all here on Better Sports Live. I am so psyched for everything going on in the world of sports. I just made a couple of picks in slow fantasy basketball leagues. One league, League Freak. It's a league that I started many, many years ago, a league that I used to write about on NBA.com and fanball.com. And I'm back in this league. I got out of the league. I'm back in the league. Why did I get out of the league? Because people were fighting and quarreling, and it was annoying as hell, and I had to tap out. You guys were bothering the hell out of me. And so many, many years later, I was invited back, and I am back in that league, League Freak. Again, a league that I created. It's an 8-category head-to-head no turnover league, and that's the Kamla spin, the no turnover part. I can't stand entering turnovers into the equation in fantasy basketball. It makes no sense to me at all. It's a completely wasted category because all the best players in basketball are the ones that get the turnovers. And I lose that category every week because I've got, a team collected of absolute rock stars and also a pick in, and I took with my last pick, Gary Trent Jr. for the threes and the steals. And in terms of this other league I'm in, slow email fantasy basketball draft, it's a 30-team dynasty league. That's right, 30 teams. And I was very, very excited. I just got Evan Fournier in the, was it the 9th round of this league? You think about that, 30 teams. We're in the 9th round, okay? We are beyond deep. We're like beyond waiver wire deep. And I got Evan Fournier. He's 29 years old, okay? So he's not ancient. 3 threes per game, a steal plus per game. So that's on my brain. I've been watching baseball. We got all kinds of football to unpack. I have an epiphany to unveil to you all about the artists formerly known as my Broncos. That's right. I'm out. Okay. I'm out. And I told you it would be maybe soon. What I saw last night was it. I had to pull the plug, man. So we'll get to all of that. And we'll play some sound for you. And I don't know, maybe I'll swing back on the clock in some of these leagues. I was up late last night drafting a fantasy hockey team because I had 3 and I was like, I don't know, did the season start today or what? Like I'm a guy that literally like plays fantasy hockey kind of on the BS tip, kind of on the, I mean, obviously I take everything I do seriously. It all comes down to my Yahoo rating. I am diamond rated in hockey. At the end of my first year, I got diamond rated and I've maintained that last year, won many championships already. It's just all math. And I figured out I got a good little equation for winning in that. So I was up late last night doing a fantasy hockey draft. And so my brain is just like wired and like ready to go. Dave Poland is saying, I demand you retract your Super Bowl prediction for the Broncos right now on the air. I want a pound of flesh. You are hilarious, Dave. You are hilarious. Dave Poland hanging out with us. Definitely want you guys to call the show and converse with your boy all night. We'll just be hanging out. I see Heavy T in here in the chat room, and if that's what we call it, I don't know, maybe it's an old school term, but all right, Dave, for you, I'm going to do it. My and our most loyal fan. I will do I will get in. Look, I like the Mets tonight, and I'll explain in a minute. And I've got some World Series odds and some baseball stuff to get to. But let me even blow past this because I've got all kinds of content on that game last night. Maybe I just need to get to it. Let me see here. All right. So Dave, I will let you know, and I will let everybody know. Okay, and we'll just start right here. It is, in fact, mulligan time for Rick Kamla and his Super Bowl prediction of the Denver Broncos. It is time for me to admit to the world, Dave Poland, Better Sports Network Nation, that I am pulling the plug on my preseason Super Bowl prediction of the Denver Broncos to win. Dave Poland, there is your pound of flesh. How did it taste? There is your pound of flesh. I like to carve a hunk of flesh out of, you know what I'm saying? He says it tastes delicious. Any old way, wow, kind of creepy there, kind of cannibalistic, he said with a smirk and an awkward laugh. It is mulligan time with me and the Denver Broncos. I am out. I can't do it anymore. I was wrong. I am sorry. I am out on the Broncos. This is pathetic. Last night was the official death of the 2022 Denver Broncos. They are toast. They were left in the oven way too long. They're like that little like lump of coal that emerges if you leave food in the oven too long, and it just bakes and bakes and bakes, and it just like becomes trash. That's who the Denver Broncos are right now. They're stove trash. To my defense, I make Super Bowl predictions early. I don't do it right before the season starts. What the hell fun is that? I got to have stuff to talk about during the offseason. And it's one of my methodologies. You know, I put that prediction out pretty early. It creates a lot of other conversations and spinoffs. And it's not like a hot take. It's just part of my process as a prognosticator and a host. So I got to do it early. But 3 years ago, I did it early. In March, I told the world that Tom Brady would lead the Buccaneers to a championship in his first year in Tampa Bay. Last year, I told you, I got the Super Bowl prediction wrong, but I told you Matt Stafford would be an MVP candidate. He'd go kick ass in LA. They're probably a Super Bowl team and all that kind of stuff. Click, nailed it. Okay. So this year, early, I want to try to go 3 for 3 with Russell Wilson. First year in Denver. They got all the pieces in place. They just need a stud QB, a championship ready QB to bring it all to a beautiful boil. 3 for 3. Here we go. Denver Broncos to win it all. So I'm not crazy. Okay. We make Super Bowl predictions, folks. Dave Poland, Heavy T, at Bettor Boss, Anthony Rivera, Tyler Soto, the producers here. We're all hanging out together on a Friday night as the Seattle Mariners are about to close out the Blue Jays here in Game 1. They're up 4-0. We make predictions based on paper. And, of course, some assumptions go into these predictions based on paper. Okay? I assumed Russell Wilson would be Russell Wilson. Shame on me. I'm sorry. He's 33 years old. We should not be in here having the conversations that we're in here having right now. He's 33. He's not 37. Okay? So, my bad. I thought Russell Wilson would get back to 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017 Russell Wilson in Denver in his first year there with the inspiration. You've got receivers. You've got all of that. And none of it's happened. Is it really, seriously, is it my fault? Think about this. It's not. It's his fault. And I'll get to that. I'm gonna significantly bang on Russell Wilson here in a minute. Could I have foretold in, I forget when I made the opinion, June, I believe it was, May, June, somewhere in there. Is it my fault that the Denver Broncos hired a completely incompetent head coach? How could we know that Nathaniel Hackett was this incompetent? We couldn't. Okay. Every brand new shiny baby head coach in the NFL is either going to suck or do well. There's almost no in between. They're like Sirianno kicking ass with Philly. Okay. Staley out with the LA Chargers. I'm not a fan. I've never been. I believe this will be his last year as their coach. Matt Nagy, how'd that work out? Spiked early and boo, fell off the table, right? He proved that he's an assistant, not a head coach. Nathaniel Hackett, he's not even assistant. This dude needs to go to Nick Saban at Alabama and completely rehab. Okay. It's like an actor or a musician, that's been all hopped up on blow and just going crazy. And they've got this huge addiction and they got to go, soak it out and sober up and do all that kind of stuff for like a month. It's some beautiful resort. Like it's the rehab for coaches. Nathaniel Hackett needs Nick Saban. Okay. He is he's the coach rehabber. That's how bad it is for Nathaniel Hackett. Like, he can't get a job in the NFL again. He's that bad. He's like literally incompetent. Why would you hire this guy? To pee play calling down his leg, to pee quarterback coaching down his leg, to pee quality control coaching down his leg. Why would you hire this guy? How could I have known that Nathaniel Hackett would be this much of a miserable son of a gun as the head coach of the Denver Broncos? The main reason for my Broncos Super Bowl prediction was Wilson following in the footsteps of Brady and Stafford, right? We talked about that a moment ago. Thing is, Russ went to Denver. Russ did not go to Denver with Super Bowl in mind. Tom Brady did. He wanted to prove to Belichick, I can get one without you. And he maybe needed to prove to his significant other that he can do the same as well. But there was a chip. There was motivation. Matt Stafford, all these years losing and getting battered in Detroit, goes out to LA. Dang, year one wins it, right? Why? How? Because he wanted it. He wanted it real bad. And you remember Matt Stafford overcame injuries last year to get that done. Okay? Russell Wilson is not in that mindset. He went to Denver to swindle a desperate franchise out of $250 million. That's what Russell Wilson did. He went to Denver in the great state of Colorado and bamboozled them all, including me. And now he is just bilking $250 million from these people, these poor people. They don't deserve this. Totally on board with the decision to bring on Russell Wilson. Totally on board. I don't regret it to this day. Absolutely the right move. Bold, aggressive move, make a big trade, pay him all the money, bring him in. Now you're in the Super Bowl fast lane. Let's go giddy up Peyton Manning style. Russ is the one who has not held up his end of the bargain. This is on him. And I am looking at him completely differently right now. If Russell Wilson was really determined to win in his first year in Denver, like Stafford, like Brady, he would have come into the season in great shape, right? He would have insisted on playing in the preseason instead of, oh, you want to put me in bubble wrap? That's cool, right? And he would be possibly back to Seattle Russ right now. If he was working out, I saw him at the U.S. Open at, I think it was one of the Serena matches. And he was wearing like a polo shirt like I have on right now. And it was like real high cut, exposing the arms. And I was like, bruh, stop eating carbs, man. Like, look puffy and doughy and chubby and dad body. And I was like, uh-oh, literally in that moment. And I saw like big around like the chin and the neck area. The guy's carrying too much weight, probably 15 pounds overweight. That's on him, bro. That's not on me. Russ has gone all Hollywood on us. It's more about selling himself than playing. It's more about banking than winning. It's sad. It is sad. We've seen the metamorphosis of a humble dude and a dude that got it and a guy that played hard and a guy that always came prepared and in shape and ready to play hurt. Remember all the times he played hurt in Seattle? An ankle injury, a knee injury, all this kind of stuff. Always played through it. I mean, he had the finger injury last year. It was all mangled on national TV. We saw it. You missed some games. He did come back early, okay? And obviously he wasn't the same guy. But he literally went to Denver with one thing in mind. Put the money in the bag. Now. Not yesterday, not 5 minutes ago, now. And I'm going to run off here into my getaway car and go back with my happy family. The guy's gone Hollywood, man. So another angle here. Why it's not my fault. But I am bailing on the Denver Broncos. I'm out. See ya. On my Super Bowl prediction. So I'm a Super Bowl prediction free agent. And I got a team in mind. But it's not time for that yet. I'm not done. Matter of fact, I'm just getting started here. It's Rick Kamla on Bettor Sports Live. Glad to have you guys and girls along for the ride on a Friday night. Soon we will have baseball again. We're in between games right now. The Padres at the Mets. It is going to be thrilling at Citi Field, home of the Mets. Like, it's going to be like that. You can feel New York coming through your television. Oh, my God, it's going to be the good stuff. Scherzer and Darvish, hello. I love a pitcher's duel in the playoffs. I don't like 9-8 in the playoffs. I don't. I like 2-1. Games like the Cardinals and Phillies today, right? And it exploded late, but, 0-0. Oh, I love those games. John Smoltz, Jack Morris back in the day, Game 7, 90. Was it 2? I believe that was the 92 World Series. No, it was 87 and 91 we won. It was 91. I say we. I came up a Twins fan. Got me a couple of rings, 87 and 91. Obviously, they're their rings, but vicariously. I was in college at the time. I was at Sigma Nu fraternity. You can imagine how drinking our face off we were with the Twins winning those championships. Those were very fun nights, folks. Very, very fun nights for your boy at a formidable age. But again, we make predictions on paper, and then this happens. Check this out. The Denver Broncos, I mean, literally, they might not make it to 500 this year. And it's all the reasons we've talked about, but also check this out. Let's go back to the preseason. Tim Patrick blows the tire. Bye-bye. We'll see you next year. Justin Simmons, one of the best safeties in football, blows the tire. We'll see you next year. Javonte Williams blows a tire. One of the best running backs in football. We'll see you next year. Randy Gregory, one of the best pass rushers in football. We'll see you soon. Okay, he's got a long-term injury, though. And then, as if that weren't bad enough, last night happened. Check this out. Cornerback Ronald Darby is, this was like a chronology from last night's game off a great article that I read about Broncos injuries. It's BroncoWire.com or something like that. But Darby left last night's game with a knee injury. Guess what? He's out for the year. Josie Jewell, I got him in a bunch of IDP leagues. His departure last night absolutely sucks for me. He did have a good game. He had several tackles and a sack before he went out, so he helped me on the way out. I don't know how long he's going to miss. He's got a knee injury. And so what else happened last night for them? Draymond Jones, terrific pass rusher on their defensive line, evaluated for concussion. Baron Browning, another one of their linebackers, had a wrist injury, questionable to concern. And then check this out. Left tackle Garrett Bowles carted off the field, and guess what? Now he's out for the year. This team is done. They're cooked. They're toast. I can't stress that enough. If you had paper on the Broncos, you're screwed. You are losing those bets. Rip up that sheet of paper right now. If you took the over on their win total, if you went, with the plus 1,600 or whatever it was 2 months ago on them to win the Super Bowl, rip it up. It ain't happened. Go ahead and rip it up or sell it to somebody who still believes. Go to Broncos country. Speaking of that, before I get into Russell Wilson is washed, Tyler Soto and Anthony Rivera with me here behind the glass. Tyler, since I went there, right? And I used to be a proud member of Broncos country. I did. I lived out in Colorado. I actually in my early years, I was like a big Broncos fan. I was. I actually got out on the Broncos. I've been a very weird NFL fan over the years, not analyst or fantasy player, but fan. I've been just weird. I've been kind of like a floozy, kind of like a side piece. I really have. I've been real kind of leapfrog here and there. Lily pad here and there. But when I came up, I thought their uniforms were awesome. I liked their quarterback, Craig Morton. I liked Haven Moses and his afro, Carl Mecklenburg, Orange Crush. And just as a kid, I liked it. I liked the visuals. I liked the team. I liked it was in the late window. I liked it all. And then I followed the Broncos. Elway came in there. I loved Elway and all that kind of stuff. And so when Peyton Manning went to Denver, I said, nah, man, my Broncos have gotten too mainstream. And so I'm out. So that's how I rock with rock and roll. Like I want to go to a dingy bar, with the bricks, like downstairs, and like there's 75 people in there. We're all having the night of our life, and nobody else on planet Earth knows about this great music going on right now. That's my vibe. Now I'll go to an arena and see Tool, Metallica. That's awesome too. But my vibe is like a small little club with some jazz, with some kick-ass blues, some rock and roll, and just tapping your foot and just having a good time, man. That's your boy's wheelhouse. Obviously, Red Rock, Sing, Fish, or Widespread Panic, all that stuff is just fantastic, and it's some of the most fun you can have. But let's go ahead and play Russell Wilson. This was at the end of his post-game interview last night, and I want you to just go. I want you to smell the cheese. Go ahead.
Thank you, guys. Broncos country. That's right.
How disingenuous is that? You suck. He took the blame for the game. I let the team down, all this kind of stuff. And Broncos country, let's ride. No one's buying it anymore, Russ. Stop saying it. All you're doing now is really pissing people off in Denver and twisting the knife that's already in their gut, okay, as they're bleeding out right now because of you. Don't do that anymore. It's super, super cheesy. So I have a question for you, and I want you guys to get involved with me here. Heavy T, Jalen, Dave Poland, everybody else that hits call the show and comes on in here. Tell me, is Russell Wilson washed? I want you to tell me. It feels too early to have this conversation. It does. This is rare for me. I'm not usually like a super overreacty guy. I tend to try to be patient about my stuff. I mean, I am yelpy. I am passionate and intense and all that, but I'm not quick to pronounce a guy washed. It took me years to pronounce Drew Brees washed, and then I did. It took me years to pronounce Ben Roethlisberger washed, and then I did. It took me years to pronounce Phillip Rivers washed, and then I did. It took me years to announce or admit that Matt Ryan is washed, and he almost is. Ha ha, ha ha. I got you. But in terms of Russell Wilson, I am ready to say that he's washed. I also want to put an asterisk by this. And I want to unwash Russell Wilson at some point, if I can. And I would like to, because I took him in a couple of dynasty leagues this year with this big opinion I had about Russ and the Broncos. Yeah. I mean, this is not working out for me in dynasty leagues. This is not working out for me in redraft leagues. This is not working out for me in terms of my sports betting advice. It is not working out for your boy. But I don't get like, screw him and I'm going to really go in on him because he's making me look bad. I don't think about that. It's prognosticators. We get stuff right. We get stuff wrong. So I'm not like emotionally charged by this. I'm just passionate about football, and I don't like bad football. I don't like guys coming in out of shape. I don't like guys like Russell Westbrook last year telling everybody that he's going to do one thing as the number 3 on the Lakers and then not complying with any of that. And it was all lies, right? During the season. Playing Russ's style of ball, not involving people, being selfish, making these stupid 1-on-4 fast break runs where you get caught up in the air and have nowhere to throw to, right? All that kind of stuff. Like, that stuff pisses me off. And it's not even emotionally based. It's just like, this is bad basketball. This is bad football. This is bad coaching. This is bad quarterbacking. This is a guy, Russell Wilson, who has given up on being in shape and being a Super Bowl level guy. He gave up, okay? When you let your body dilapidate to this level and you're puffy and doughy, you can't make throws anymore, you run very infrequently anymore, that's on you, bro. You're 33. Brady's cooking at 45. What the hell is your excuse? You went Hollywood, okay? So Russell Wilson is washed. There's no more excuses, people. There's none. Last year he had the injured hand, okay? You break your finger, you come back, you didn't play all that well. Cool, I can work with that. The offensive line problems in Seattle. Guess what? Russ started looking toasty a little bit last year, even before the finger injury. We could explain all that off, right? Because of Russ's age, and it's just kind of getting stale in Seattle and the trade rumors, and it's kind of vibey right now, and we can massage our brains on that, right? Wrong. Russ has looked like garbage since the beginning of this season. And because we have seen this puke fest for 5 weeks now, I can't play the preseason card with the inactivity, and he's going to get off to a slow start like Burrow and Dak and some of these other quarterbacks, Stafford, the guys that didn't play in the preseason. Now they've come out and they've looked like crap so far. We know why. It's because they didn't play in the preseason. Well, Russ was one of those guys. Okay, but we don't have that card to play anymore because we're 5 games in. And what we saw last night was a dumpster fire from Russell Wilson. Literally maybe the worst game he's ever played in the NFL. And the games like keep getting worse, right? The San Fran game. Hello, anybody? Like, how dreadful was that? And it's even hard to play the out of shape card. I mean, like, he's that out of shape that we can still play it. But we shouldn't at this point be able to play the out of shape card. 5 weeks in, even if you were kind of out of shape in week 1, like 5 weeks later, right? Getting on the treadmill, you're eating right. You can take off 10 pounds in 5 weeks. You know what I'm saying? We still can't do that, though. Father Time is kicking his ass. Kind of like Draymond Green punched Jordan Poole. Bam! Right in the chin and dropped you. There's no end in sight to the misery. I can see the end of Russell Wilson's career, though. Ew, it's coming at me like a freight train out of a tunnel right now. Last night, the pick early in the fourth quarter was a Jameis Winston hope ball. It was an abomination. Backpedal throws a Jared Goff ass business decision, protect my body, hope ball down the middle of the field. Easy interception. I could have caught that football. You could have caught that football. Dave Poland could have caught that football. Seriously. You have a 10% chance of completing that pass, and he threw it. Okay? And he's been doing stuff like that all year long. And then, at the moment of truth, with the game on the line, 4th down, you got a chance to win the game after all of this suctitude. And KJ Hamler is wide open, jumping up and down, screaming for the football. And you're looking left, you're looking over the middle. You never make it back over to the right to scan the entire field. Why? Because he's off his game. He's not prepared. He's not ready. He's not in rhythm. He's just not there. There's a disconnect. How do you not see KJ Hamler wide the F open on the right side for the game-winning touchdown? You're Russell Wilson making a $250 million. How does that happen? How does that happen? It can't. It's a deal breaker. It has me on Bettor Sports Network right now saying Russell Wilson is washed. Face it. He's a charismatic dude. He's an aw shucks dude with a great resume, and he suckered a quarterback-starved team into making a huge trade and then paying him 5 years and $245 million. He's a con man. Here's what the Broncos gave up to the Seahawks to get Russell Wilson. The Seahawks traded Russell Wilson and a fourth-round pick this year for a first-round pick, a second-round pick, a fifth-round pick, a first-round pick, and a second-round pick. You gave up 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and a fifth, and Noah Fant, and Shelby Harris, and Drew Lock. Seattle, bravo. John Schneider, Pete Carroll, the Allen family, bravo. Bravo. I never disliked the trade for them. I didn't. But I love the trade for them now. They got out on Russ on a high, even though he was coming off a low. See what I'm saying? That is great GMing by the Seattle Seahawks. Oh, boy, are they set up for the future right now. And how screwed are the Broncos? Hold that thought. I'm not mad at the Broncos front office. Like I said, I would have done the same exact thing. I don't revise stuff. I don't bang on the Phoenix Suns for taking DeAndre Ayton over Luka Doncic in 2018, even though Luka Doncic is a way better basketball player, because I mocked DeAndre Ayton to the Suns in 2018, number 1 overall. So why would I sit in here and bang on James Jones for taking DeAndre Ayton? I won't, because I don't go back on my word that way. What I say back in the day, I remember, okay? Some people just let that drift out, and every day it's something different, and they play the hot take game, and we don't do that here. Stephen A. Smith said today on ESPN, my homie Stephen A. Smith, no one anticipated Russell Wilson would look this bad. No one. Again, it's not just me that Russ has bamboozled. It's Stephen A., it's the Broncos, it's the billionaire owner of the Broncos, it's all of them. It's the league. How about all these national TV games? Do you want to see any more Denver Broncos on national TV? We know the answer to that. The problem is that Russell Wilson is a fraud. He's a Hollywood salesman who is now stealing money from his team, just like your boys Michael Thomas and Kenny Golladay. Put the money in the bag. I got to make it outside to the getaway car. Check this out. Here's how washed Russell Wilson is. This is an epic rant, okay? When I am here, we're almost a half hour into the show. I got a bunch of other stuff to talk about. But Dave Poland went there. He demanded the pound of flesh with my Super Bowl prediction of Broncos, which I have now retracted. It's been retracted. It's not in the process of being retracted. It's retracted. It's gone, vaporized. I apologize for it. I did, and I sincerely meant that. I will try to do better. 65% on props so far this year. I've been helping you out in a lot of different regards. Oh, boy, did we kill the props last night. 7-2. 7-2 on props last night. Giddy up, holla at your boy. But check this out. Here's how washed Russell Wilson is. According to ESPN stats and information, last night he went 0 for 6 on pass attempts to the end zone. Nice, including an interception. He is now 2 of 18 on pass attempts to the end zone this season. 2 of 18. That's 11%, and that's the worst in the National Football League. Check this out. Last night, he had a rating of 55, 0 of 4 in the red zone, 2 of 15 on third down. Yeah, well done. 2 picks, no touchdowns. 59% completions. On the season, he has 59% completions, which sucks. 250 yards a game, which is 4 touchdowns, 3 picks in 5 games. He's not top 5 anymore, yo. He's bottom 5. I'm like scanning like bad quarterbacks right now, right? I think I'd rather have Kenny Pickett under center for my team right now than Russell Wilson. I mean that. I do. I feel like Kenny Pickett's going to get it, and it's really going to work out. I do. Like, not this year. I'm not saying they're going to go to the playoffs and win the Super Bowl and all that kind of stuff. But Kenny Pickett's got an it factor to him, and all the stuff about small hand size, man, I haven't seen that play out at all. He throws a beautiful ball. It's right on time, with oomph. And I think I'd rather have Kenny Pickett than Russell Wilson right now. I really do. To maintain MVP level play at this age of his career, you have to work harder than you've ever worked. But it's hard to put that work in when you've gone Hollywood and you're no longer as dedicated to the game as you once were, and when now you're just a businessman in it for yourself and your family. I appreciate you guys enjoying the show, hanging out with your boy Cam. And so let's take a break right here, and we'll get into some of the comments. I'm not done with the Broncos. I'm not. I got to get to tell you what. I want to take a break from the Broncos because I still have to bang on Nathaniel Hackett. I haven't even started. Okay, but I am out on the Broncos. A retraction of the prediction, and Russell Wilson is washed. Okay, so I've given you a lot of goodies here so far. But when we come back, I'm going to help you try to make some money and stay hot. Remember how sizzling I was at the end of the regular season on my baseball money line prognostications? Not bragging, just saying. I'm going to try to stay hot, and I'm going to try to make you money on tonight's big old game, Mets at Padres. We're going to do that next on Bettor Sports Network.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
What about Zach Ertz, though, when Hopkins comes back, thinking about it long term? Do you think?
You got to continue to play the guy. I mean, the tight end position is so bad. I mean, I think this week, I got to start ranking guys like Ertz ahead of Kyle Pitts. I mean,
wow.
What do you mean, wow? What has Kyle Pitts done to continue to rank him in the top 5?
No, you're right. It's interesting, man, that he just has not come through. And I'm wondering, I mean, he had the 1 week he did, but I'm wondering if they're going to get right at all. Now, I'm not saying you're wrong by any stretch. He hasn't been good.
I mean, Parker Heese, the tight end for Atlanta, played more snaps than him.
Yeah.
Pitts ran 12 routes. Heese ran 6.
Pitts
had 4 targets. They're not throwing the football enough either. That's the problem. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm sure people don't have Pitts and Ertz anyway. Like, it's to the point with Pitts right now where you do have to consider another tight end over it. I'm not saying Cole Kmet, but if you have Njoku and Pitts, is it really outlandish to play Njoku over Pitts right now?
No.
If you don't have Kyle Pitts or you don't follow this stuff, you don't realize how bad he's been. And I only have Kyle Pitts in a best ball, in an FFPC best ball. So it's not like whatever. And I just looked at that roster. I'm like, oh, my backup is Albert Elf. Looks like I'm in trouble. And look, it should get better for him. But the guy has 10 receptions for 150 yards. No touchdowns. Here are his game logs: 2 for 19, 2 for 19, 5 for 87, 1 for 25. I mean, this is just pathetic at this point. And people spent the 3rd round pick on it. There's probably not much you can do. I think people are like, well, I drafted him, I got to use him. You don't have to, man. You really don't. Right. If you have David Njoku, I might play him over Pitts right now. I know it sounds crazy, but we've seen 4 weeks of this garbage.
Yeah, and even a decent matchup against Tampa for him, it's the quarterback. That's the problem. It's the quarterback. We talked about this.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Drake London yesterday. Drake London is a hell of a talent. Mm-hmm. They completed 7 passes, and they won, which is the worst part. Somehow this team is 2-2.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
All right, it's your boy Rick Kamla here on Bettor Sports Live on a Friday night, and let me get to my notes here on Mets and Padres. I will run through the props that I got right and wrong last night. We'll do that in a little bit here. We got I don't know if we'll have time for NFL news. I certainly have. I've got 15 prop bets for you guys and girls tonight. Where in the heck are my notes on the Mets? And they're at the top here. All right. Let's get into this. I like the Mets tonight, folks, and this game will be going off at about like 8:07, something like that. So where are we? We're about a half hour out from the first pitch of Padres and Mets from New York City. So we go money line here, right? And this is a very manageable number for us. Mets minus 155 is to me like. That's modest. Like, okay, wow, one and a half to 1 right there. I like that a lot. So minus 155, I really dig this bet. If I could wager on sports legally down here in Florida, I would definitely have cash on Scherzer and the Mets tonight. It is a hell of a pitching duo tonight between Scherzer and Darvish. Max Scherzer got roughed up in his last start against Atlanta. He gave up 4 earned runs, 9 hits, over 5 2/3. Atlanta's offense is awesome. Absolutely awesome, as we know, right? So, okay, you got roughed up against Atlanta. Like, I can work with that, right? Like, it's when, if Scherzer got roughed up by a bad hitting team, like maybe, I don't know, Minnesota tagged him for that, or the Marlins tagged him for that. Then it's like, whoa, what is going on here? The fact that it was the Braves, I can work with that. Because in his previous 2 starts, we're talking about Max Scherzer here against Milwaukee and Oakland. He allowed 1 earned run in 12 innings in his previous 2 starts. Okay. So he was rolling and then hit a hiccup against the Atlanta Braves. And now Max Scherzer is at home in 10 starts at home. Check out these numbers. He is 4-2 with a 1.67 ERA and 0.881 whip. Okay. Let me give you these numbers again. Scherzer at home this year, unhittable, completely dominant. 4-2, 1.67 ERA, 0.881 whip. Scherzer against San Diego this year in 1 start, 0-1, 3 ERA, and he's got 8 Ks. So he's been pretty good, right? Not great. That's not typical Scherzer, but he didn't get lit up by them. So that's a good indicator for me. Max Scherzer on the season has been lights out. Now, it's been up and down with injuries and that kind of thing. 11-5. Though on the year, 2.29 ERA, 10.7 Ks per game, 0.908 whip. I mean, a whip way below 1. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, if he could have stayed healthy and you extrapolate over that over a full season, we're talking about Cy Young. Okay. Now let's go. And Max in his career in the playoffs has been very, very good. It's not like Kershaw and some of these guys that like are getting roughed up and their career ERA is like, whoa, what's happening with that career playoff ERA, bro? Max Scherzer's career playoff ERA is 3.22, which is very, very good. And I have found over the years watching and tracking and covering baseball in the playoffs that it gets harder to pitch and get these dudes out in the playoffs. For whatever reason, the hitters just dial it up. Their concentration goes up. They're tougher to get out in the playoffs. So I'm not mad if your career ERA in the regular season is then like, your postseason ERA is a little bit above that. If it's way above that, that's a different conversation. But I'm okay with a little bit, like in the NBA. I'll give you an example. I have found that your field goal percentage for the Tatums, the Durants, the George Gervins, everybody, the Michael Jordans, everybody, your field goal percentage tends to go down a little bit in the playoffs because it just gets tougher. You're on the road in these environments. The defenses are all just more wound tight, and they spend basically 2 weeks scheming to stop you and all this kind of stuff. So it tends to drag down field goal percentage a little bit. Not a big deal to me. That I can work with that. It's like it's a trend through history. Okay, like it happens to all of them. Okay, so it's not like an outlier. That Scherzer, but 3.22 is pretty damn good. Now let's get to Yu Darvish and break him down. Yu Darvish career in the playoffs has not been good at all. He's had 7 starts in the playoffs, Yu Darvish. He'll make his 8th tonight. He's 2-5 with a 5.18 ERA. Okay, so he's one of those guys. The regular season numbers are then blown out of the water by the postseason numbers. Okay, exactly what I was talking about with Kershaw. Darvish is that guy. It has not translated to the playoffs, but it has for Scherzer. Ding, advantage us tonight betting on the Mets at a -155 on the money line. Darvish this season has been awesome. He has. Got to give it to him. 16-8, a 3.10 ERA, a whip well below 1 at 0.950, and 197 Ks in 194 innings. That's my kind of year in fantasy baseball. That's everybody's kind of year in fantasy baseball. And Darvish is not as good on the road as he is at home. Here's another trend in our favor playing the Mets tonight. At home, he's got a 2.60 ERA. On the road, he's got a 3.50 ERA. At home, his whip is sparkling, 0.877. On the road, his whip is 1.009. So it's still good, but you can see these numbers inflate on the road. He's on the road tonight. Now, Yu Darvish has dominated against the Mets this year. He has. I can't just ignore this number. I saw this number, and I'm like, what do I do with this? Because, again, I don't predetermine an opinion on a game before I do the research most of the time. Sometimes I have a vibe and I vet it through the research. Sometimes I have no vibe at all and just start doing research on it, and it takes me one way or the other. Yu Darvish this year against the Mets has gone 2-0 with an 0.64 ERA and an 0.500 whip. Folks, it doesn't get any better than that. 0.64 ERA and half of one on the whip. It's a joke. But the mitigating factors for me here are you're on the road and it's a playoff game. Okay. Those were two regular season games against the New York Mets. 2-0, 0.64 ERA. Those are not playoff games. We talked about it. Yu Darvish doesn't translate to the playoffs. So I think that's a stronger trend to me than being lights out against the Mets this year. And that's why I'm rocking this way. I'm taking the Mets minus 155. And I recommend you do as well. It is an official tout by your boy Cam. The keys for me here tonight are Max and you in their home road splits, and Max and you in their playoff track record. Those are the two key elements for my prediction here tonight. It is going to be an electric atmosphere out there in New York City. The Mets have been, let's analyze the teams and kind of broaden it out a little bit. Who's been the better baseball team this year, folks? The Mets or the Padres? Clearly the Mets. I mean, wire to wire until the wire broke the very end of the season and the Braves won the division, right? The Mets led the division all year. And they blew a 10.5 game lead. That's fine. We know what the Braves do. They chase you down, they hunt you down, and they get you a lot of times, especially recently with this badass club they have, which is going to the World Series, by the way. I'll make that call a little bit later on here. The Mets won 101 games. The Padres won 89 games. You have no Fernando Tatis, and so now the Padres are just a team. They're just a team. They won 89 games. So what? 89 games, big deal. They didn't even get to 90, sort of that magical threshold of an MLB team, right? They didn't even get there. Why? Tatis. Tatis is the heart and soul of this team. When he's not there, they're just not as good. And that's going to be a factor tonight. This is the kind of game where you got 89 wins, you made the playoffs, you're a wild card, all this kind of stuff. But okay, now's when you need Tatis. So what I would say about the Tampa Bay Rays, what did we find out again today, folks? Tampa Bay Rays, you can Band-Aid and gauze pad and elbow grease your way to the playoffs. But when you get to the playoffs, you need the big boys to come up to the bat and get it done. And those big boys who get it done in the playoffs make a lot of money. But of course, they don't want to pay anybody. And so you have what happened today. And the 1, 2, and 3 in their lineup was 0 for 12 at the plate or something like that. They couldn't get anything done. Why? Because they're the Rays, and this is what they do. They're not good enough. They're good enough in the regular season, not good enough in the postseason. It's who they are. It's what they do. So the Padres, to me, are really going to miss Tatis. We're going to feel that tonight. The Mets are heading into the postseason on a bittersweet note. You got swept by the Braves. You lost the National League East. But then they came back and closed out Washington and got some feel good and some good sensations back. They beat them 21-4 over those 3 games. Padres are 6-6 in their last 12 games, so they don't have a whole lot of traction coming in. And the Mets are a dominant home team, 54-27 at home this year. Okay, so I got the Mets tonight minus 155. This game will go off in about 25 minutes. And so let's get to let's see here. Let's stay on baseball here for a minute, because I promised you last night, I told you that the Astros were winning the American League and moving on to the World Series. And I was that far in my evaluation and research on this. I did more digging today. And some of the comments here, Better Boss says it's an MLB high holy day. Hope everyone is enjoying it. Matt Deutsch, Better Boss, what's up, my friend? Indeed it is. Baseball on all day. We got a great game coming up here. It's going to be awesome, awesome theater. I have the Astros beating the Braves in the World Series. I told you I need to do more digging on the National League side, and I did. The Braves are the class of the National League. Whoa! How do I not say the Dodgers are the class of the National League? I'll explain. The Braves have a better hitting lineup than the Dodgers. Let me go to the Dodgers hitting lineup here, and we'll talk about how unimpressive it is. I mean, obviously, you have 3 MVP candidates in this hitting lineup, okay? So they're not all, bums. Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, Freddie Freeman, oh my God. Will Smith, my guy, I try to target him in every fantasy league I'm in. He's an outstanding catcher, the best hitting catcher in baseball. Salvi Perez, he's right there. Will Smith is like 1, 2, or 3 best hitting catchers in baseball. Okay. Max Muncy. I mean, he was effectively just north of waiver wire material this year. Justin Turner, just north of waiver wire material this year. Cody Bellinger. I had him. I drafted him in a couple of leagues. He slipped, and I was like, Cody Bellinger, big name. Maybe he has that breakout. And so I'm watching the games early in the season. It's still 0 for 4, 0 for 4, 0 for 4 with these wild swings where he closes his eyes and hopes he makes contact, right? The Cody Bellinger overswing. And I was like, I'm out. And so in Yahoo leagues, no, I just dropped it. You can have. I didn't even try to trade him. You can just drop it. You can have him. Go out there on waivers and get him. And so then he was recycled and dropped and picked up and dropped and so, the whole thing. Cody Bellinger this year. If these numbers are reliable here on Roto Champ, sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. 221, 27 homers, 27 RBI. Ugh. I mean, how average is that? It's below average. 221 sucks. Joey Gallo sucks. Coming off the Dodgers bench with the bats, you got Chris Taylor. I like Chris Taylor. I do. I don't love him, but I like him. And you've also got Trace Thompson, the brother of Klay Thompson. He had an eye year. 13 dingers, 256, right? Okay. They don't have a murderer's row. They have 3 studs. The LA Dodgers have 3 studs. They do not have a whole hitting lineup. They don't. They got 3 studs. Will those 3 studs, ultimately beat the Atlanta Braves? No, they will not. Because the Braves, folks, Dansby Swanson, Matt Olson, William Contreras is a hell of a hitting catcher. I had him on a bunch of my fantasy. After Yasmani Grandal died halfway through the year, I had to go get another catcher, and I went with Contreras. It was fantastic. You have some mix and match guys, Ozuna, Rosario. I helped them, win it all last year. And obviously you've got Acuna. You got Albies, but he's hurt. And Austin Riley and Michael Harris and Travis d'Arnaud, another terrific hitting catcher. You've got dudes, man. They're 7-8 strong in their lineup. The Dodgers are like 3 strong in their lineup. So that's a heavy advantage for the Braves, in my opinion. You go to the starting rotation of these teams. I would give the advantage to the Dodgers. I would give the advantage to the Dodgers, but not by much. The Braves are going to roll out with, like their big 3 of Max Fried and Kyle Wright and Charlie Morton. Now, Spencer Strider did throw a bullpen, and he may be able to come back at some point, but I don't know. But to me, like if Strider comes back, it's going to just be convincingly they win it. And he's right. I mean, Spencer Strider is amazing. He is lights out. He's a shutdown pitcher. He's a big playoff game pitcher. I can just see it from what I watched from him this year. Big strikeout guy, the whole thing. He's a stud. 131 innings, 202 strikeouts. What? That's insanity, folks. Again, these numbers courtesy of RotoChamp. If they're wrong, blame them, not me. But you've got Fried, you've got Wright, you've got Charlie Morton, and so they're going to make it. They're going to make it work. Obviously, the Dodgers have Clayton Kershaw, Julio Urias, and Tyler Anderson. I know what I'm going to get from Kershaw and Urias. The Tyler Anderson piece, right? Great regular season. Will you have a great playoff? I don't know. The bullpen heavily in favor of the Atlanta Braves between these 2 teams. When you consider Atlanta's incredibly deep bullpen, the fact that the Dodgers just had to shelve Craig Kimbrell as their closer, and now it's a mix and match on the back end. The Braves have Kenley Jansen, 41 saves. Love him. Helped me make fantasy money this year. Appreciate you, Kenley. I love Kenley Jansen. I know he loads the bases a lot and makes it like to walk the tightrope and all that kind of stuff. I freaking love him because he's always the closer. There's never going to be losing a job or anything like that. He had 41 saves this year. The guy's a badass, man. Yes, he gets hit a couple of times. It's okay. Everybody gets hit a couple of times. They got Raziel Iglesias, right? He had 17 saves this year. Colin McHugh's been fantastic. AJ Minter, Tyler Matzek, guys that helped them win it all last year. They got a deep, awesome bullpen. Bless me. Just had to sneeze right there. The Dodgers bullpen is not that. And I'll go there here in just a second and explain it to you. But they're bringing Craig Kimbrell, the former Brave. And so Kenley Johnson's going to come back to haunt his former team, the Los Angeles Dodgers. But in terms of the bullpen out there with the Dodgers, late in the season, it's been Phillips, it's been Bickford, it's been Vesia and these guys. And I'm not feeling it, man. I think that the Yankees bullpen is going to be a problem for them. I do. And I think the Dodgers bullpen is going to be a problem for them in the playoffs. And those are 2 reasons why I will take the Astros over the Yankees. and really main heartbeat reasons why I will take the Astros over the Yankees and why I will take the Braves over the Dodgers. So to give you that breakdown, that's why I got Braves over Dodgers. I have the Braves beating them in 7 games in the NLCS. The odds, so in terms of making it on the wild card, I don't have any, and then beating one of the teams that are on by, I don't have any upsets. I don't. I think it's going to be chalky. I think the New York Yankees are going to beat the winner of Tampa Bay, Cleveland. It looks like Cleveland. The Dodgers are going to beat the winner of Padres and Mets. Now, if the Mets win, and I think they will pose a significant challenge for the Dodgers. And I actually, now that I say that, I want to check up on that. I want to check up on that. I do. I want to see how guys get healthy, how many pitches Gonsolin can throw. There's some stuff I need to see on LA. I may pick the Mets over LA. So I check up on that. I want to leave that one open-ended. If the Mets play the Dodgers in that first round, I want to hold off on that. But I do. The Yankees will beat Tampa Bay or Cleveland. Houston will beat Seattle or Tampa Bay. Atlanta will beat Philly or St. Louis. I feel very, very confident in that. But I may go Mets over Dodgers. I'm not feeling the Dodgers, folks. I'm not. I know they had a great record. Ask yourself this question. How many great teams are in the National League? Go. How many great teams are in the National League? 3. There's 3 great teams. And to me, a couple of teams that are north of mediocre, Philadelphia, St. Louis, San Diego. Come on, are you really that number? Oh, the Dodgers beat the St. Louis Cardinals and the San Diego Padres. Big deal. There are, in my opinion, there's more heavy metal in the American League. Overall, like throughout the whole, like into the middle, and when you talk about the Twins and the White Sox and like all of the teams, right? The Orioles and what they did this year, they were tougher. A lot of just teams in the National League. I wasn't feeling it. So odds to win the World Series, folks. And let's run them through here. The Dodgers are at a plus 310. No, sir. Go ahead, knock yourself out. I feel like the bubble burst. If they had Buehler, wow, we're having a different conversation right now. If Craig Kimbrell were still their closer and lights out, we'd have a different conversation right now. And if like Bellinger were good, Muncy were good, Justin Turner were good instead of average, we could have a different conversation right now. I'm not feeling it, man. I am not feeling it. Again, I need to see, this is what I need to see from the Mets also. I want to see Scherzer. I want to see DeGrom mowing people down, right? Oh my God, look at these guys. They're a freight train now. But you learn about a team, are you going to be able to get the timely hit? The Mets, they're not used to this playoff thing. Obviously the Dodgers are. So some things I need to see. I do like the Mets bullpen and like all of it. And I obviously they're stacked at the top of their pitching with Bassett and DeGrom and Scherzer. I'm leaning towards taking the Mets over the Dodgers in that next round. I'm telling you right now. So Dodgers plus 310 to win the World Series. You're pissing your money into the wind. That's what you're doing. But you're not doing that with Houston plus 396. Oh, hell no, you're not. No, sir. Best bet on the board. You can go 4-1 on the Astros. On the Astros? Are you kidding me? With the bats they got, with the pen they got, with the starters they got. Let me run through the starting pitching options at the disposal of Dusty Baker and the Houston Astros. I honestly kind of can't remember seeing a staff this deep. Probably could have chosen a couple of words to string together right there, but it is what it is. Pun unintended. Framber Valdez, 11-9, 381 ERA. Verlander, 11-6. These numbers are wrong. Like RotoChamp is weird. I love RotoChamp. Gives you access to rosters. You can just kind of talk on the fly about but these numbers are wrong. But Framber Valdez, awesome year. Justin Verlander, awesome year. Lance McCullers hurt, came back, was basically unhittable. I think he had a 2.29 ERA for the year. Luis Garcia, very, very solid. Christian Javier, difficult. Jose Urquidy, a good meat grinder, had an ERA 380 or something like that. Won 13 games or something like that. Hunter Brown is going to be that bridge guy, right? A starter's getting into some trouble in the 5th inning through 4 to 3rd. They bring in Hunter Brown, bridge the gap to the bullpen. They're going to be just fine. The Houston Astros, to me, I would not rather have anybody's entire pitching staff in the league other than Houston's. Houston's pitching staff literally against the world. Ryan Presley, Hector Neris, Will Smith, Ryan Stanek, Onile Paredes, Rafael Montero, who's got 14 saves, Phil Maton. They got dudes, man. They don't even have to go back-to-back days pitching the same guys. I mean, you want to talk about a sweet spot for holds in fantasy baseball? Neris and Stanek and all these guys. Montero, obviously, with a lot of holds, and he had a bunch of saves, too, filling in for Presley when he was hurt. Presley had a good year when he was healthy. Stop it. Houston Astros are winning this thing, man. Houston Astros are winning this World Series. There's motivation to prove everybody wrong, that we're not just a cheating team, like we're really good, so we're going to win one without the cheating. A lot of motivation to get that ring for Dusty Baker. And I live down in Houston. I worked radio in Houston. I covered the Astros. I know how that fan base is and how Texans are, and there's a lot of pride and there's a lot behind that team, and it's going to be a great environment down there when they have home games, and that's going to be a tough place to go and get a win, man. I'm telling you right now, Texas fans are no joke. They are passionate. They are bloodthirsty, man. And the New York Mets at a plus 837. Again, this is to win the World Series. I do like that. I like the Braves at a plus 525. Again, not as much as Houston plus 396. And these are aggregated consensus, basically money line odds here on VegasInsider.com. But Houston at a plus 396. New York, I don't trust their bullpen, and I don't trust their lineup outside of Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. I don't. There's a lot of lack of trust going on with me and the Yankees. And it just kind of seems like they're cursed right now, and that it's always something with them. It's a bad pitch. It's an error. It's a drop ball in the outfield. It's a fan getting in the way of a home run when they shouldn't have. It's always something. I'm not feeling the Yankees. I know a lot of you are. I'm not. You guys play at plus 512 to win the World Series. I'm not. I'm over here on the sideline. And I do like Atlanta because I have them in the World Series. So I do like them at plus 525. I think the Astros are going to beat the Braves in a 7-game World Series. It's going to be an absolute classic. And then, like I said, I like the Mets. They're my best long shot to win the World Series at a plus 837. It is absolutely realistic for the Mets to win the World Series. It's not probable or likely, but it's realistic. And that's important because that means it can happen. It's not realistic for the Rays or the Guardians or the Phillies or the Cardinals, in my opinion, to win the World Series. It's not even realistic. It's stupid talk. It's hot take talk. That is not hot take and stupid talk with the New York Mets. Top of the hour, 8 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to have Dylan Short. He's with 680 The Fan in Atlanta. We'll ask him a bunch of questions about the Braves. We'll talk a little Falcons as well, and we'll do it next with your boy Rick Kamla right here on Bettor Sports Live.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Bettor Sports Network.
Surely. Kickers never retire, I think. They just continue playing for all eternity. There have been 30 NFL kickers.
Yeah, they're always readily available too, it seems. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just get called up. They're like, you kicked for us 10 years ago, right? Why don't you
Let's run it back. Let's run
I imagine
Graham
every
Gano.
single kicker that gets the call is on a high school football field somewhere just practicing field goals after hours. Like it's like 9 p.m. and they're out there just the local high school kicking field goals, and the phone rings. They get a call and they're like, yeah, I'm ready. I've been practicing for this.
I have an amazing kicker story if you guys have a second.
I got a couple.
The number one all-time field goal kicker is Adam Vinatieri. The next two guys are Morton and Gary Anderson, right? Gary Anderson was a dude from like South Africa that just played rugby and soccer. He just could absolutely boot the ball, right? They bring him over and he does like a tryout and he's just absolutely crushing the ball. And all these colleges are like, dude, we want you to come kick field goals for us. And he goes, I don't even want to play football. He goes, I want to play soccer. He goes, I want to play soccer. He goes, so if I can come to your school and play soccer, I'll also, in the fall, I'll kick for the football team. And Syracuse was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, you're on the soccer team. Like, come on. And he went to Syracuse to play soccer, but also kick field goals. And then he ended up being a top 3 point scorer in the NFL all the time.
That's ridiculous.
And his answer to recruiters was, I don't want to play football. I'll do it in my spare time.
Yeah. He's like, you got to spot for me on the soccer team. Syracuse is like, yeah, We got a spot for you.
We don't even care about our soccer
We
team.
don't even care.
We
We
can
don't have
totally
a
have
soccer
that spot.
Right? They had to like cobble together a soccer team. Like, this guy's the captain.
Oh my god, it's like Accepted the movie, but they just like had to throw together a whole fake soccer team.
Somehow they still got Justin Long.
Right? Yeah. Like, Adam Sandler's the coach. And dude, it's imagine they win the national championship. That's a movie, dog. Yeah.
Boom!
Someone call up Disney. Yeah, we just wrote a movie for you, Disney. This has Disney sports movie written all over. I'm borderline crying right here just thinking about this movie right now.
Dude, the story gets even crazier. Like I should have looked it up again, but like it was like a high school coach that went and found him, and then that high school coach ended up being somebody crazy famous that like coached for the Rams.
Stay tuned for sports. Talk about your picks, your fantasy teams, and your sports collectibles on Bettor Sports Network. Bettor Sports Live with Rick Kamla on Bettor Sports Network.
Okay, we are about to get the first pitch of Mets and Padres from New York City. And right now we've got Dylan Short. He's with 680 The Fan in Atlanta, covering the Braves, covering the Dogs, covering the Falcons, covering all of the Atlanta teams. Dylan, it's Rick Kamla over here at Bettor Sports Network. Nice to meet you, sir. I don't know if you know this, but for your edification, I spent 11 years in Atlanta over at 92.9 The Game, 7 years. So you're a competitor, but none of that rivalry stuff matters anymore, Dylan. It's great to have you on right now. What's up?
I'm glad to be on. I will say I really don't pay much attention to rivalries. I kind of handle my own business and let it kind of go from there, but happy to be on.
Me too, man. Me too. There's not enough time in the day to sweat that stuff. We got to work hard enough to make our cash and feed our families, man. So let's talk about these Braves. And the big question that I have, Dylan, is Spencer Strider. And I have the Braves. I just got these predictions out, gave them to the people. I've got the Braves winning the National League. I'm not even sure the Dodgers get to the NLCS. I think the Mets might beat them in the second round. But I've got the Braves going to the World Series. Got the Astros beating them in 7 games. So I'm very high on the Braves to make a long playoff run, and who the hell knows? Look, if you tell me some really good news on Spencer Strider, I may go ahead and reconsider this or think more strongly about it. But what can you tell me about Strider?
So from what we've heard from Alex, and Alex is a notoriously closed mouth. If he tells you something about an injury, he means there's probably 18 different things that he's not telling you about it. But from what we've gathered, there's still a fair chance that Spencer could come back in the DS. Ozzy's already been ruled out, but for Spencer, I think he's that guy. He's kind of the X factor that makes the rest of the postseason tick for the Braves. With Spencer, I think you're looking at the Braves having the best rotation in the postseason. Without Spencer, it's a little bit more dicey. I think he'll be fine. At this point, he's had about it'll be about 3.5 weeks off. Due to the oblique strain. And when he did strain it, they never said whether it was bad or anything like that. So I'm choosing to look at it. Maybe I'm just being an optimist. I'm choosing to look at it more as he got about a month off from having to use his arm and is going to get right just in time for the postseason.
I mean, I hope you're right. And when you think about Kyle Wright with 21 wins and Max Fried is an absolute badass, and you got the grizzled vet in Charlie Morton, who is an established Dylan big game pitcher. So Morton would be that third guy, I presume. Maybe you can run through what you think their playoff rotation would be. But if Strider is in there with Kyle Wright and Max Fried, the Braves are going to be a very, very tough out. So talk to me about Kyle Wright, because you look at his stats and it's like, why are more people not talking about Kyle Wright? Right? You hear about all this Alcantara stuff, for Cy Young, because he's got great ratios and all this kind of stuff. Dylan, when did we stop caring about wins and losses and a guy having 21 wins? Like, are people even talking about him for Cy Young right now?
So the pitcher win kind of went away once Felix Hernandez was doing his thing out in Seattle. And you started being able to kind of see that just because a guy's on a bad team doesn't mean that he's not a better pitcher than this guy that's on the Yankees, who maybe gets 8 runs of run support a game. First of all, cool for Kyle to be the first Brave since Russ Ortiz. I think it was in 2008 for a first 20-game winner since then. I actually think the cooler stat for Kyle is not the 21 wins. He's got 26 decisions and 30 starts. That is an amazing, consistent stretch of being able to go 6+ innings. Like, that's Really incredible he was able to do that. The reason people don't talk about Kyle, the start of the year, he was mowing people down. He was striking people out left and right, giving up basically no contact. As he kind of wore on as the season went on, I started giving up more contact. And it also kind of hurts a little bit when you've got Spencer Strider in your same rotation and Max Fried. So Kyle kind of got missed as kind of the third guy. And when you watched him, he'd give up, 6, 7, 8 hits to start. But he just wasn't going to let you get more than 2 or 3 runs. It might not be pretty. He might not go 8 innings every time out. But what he did so well this year was find ways to kind of cut the bleeding down a little bit and leave the game in a position for you to win. That's why I think Kyle is one of the more fluid pitchers for the Braves. I think he could be the number 2 in your rotation. You tell me he's the 4, and I don't think that really matters. You brought up Charlie, and that's the interesting thing for the Braves in this postseason, because postseason Charlie Morton is one of the best postseason pitchers currently in Major League Baseball. He's on par with Justin Verlander, but haven't seen that Charlie Morton at all this year. So if you're going based on what you know, you're going Fried, Strider, right. If you want to kind of go towards the veteran aspect, then maybe you consider Charlie being the 3, Kyle being the 4. A lot of it has to do with where you end up playing, because Charlie's home road splits are pretty drastic. He's way better at Truist than he is outside of Truist. But again, until you see playoff Morton, if he comes out and he shoves like Charlie Morton usually does in the postseason, then I think it's over for everybody else. If you tell me that the Braves can go 4 deep and Charlie is pitching like normal Charlie, there's not another team that's going to stack up with that. I mean, the Astros might. I don't want to take anything away
I was
from
just
the
going to say, I think the Astros would have something to say to that. I hear what you're saying about the Braves, but I just went through the Astros.
I don't want to take away from them. They got
their
really, really good rotation.
If they've got dudes that would be starting for other playoff teams that aren't even going to be in their rotation. That's how deep they are. I want to ask you a question here as Scherzer's about to run out to a roaring ovation here. Mets and Padres are about to get underway. Who you got tonight? Who are you feeling? A great pitchers matchup here, obviously, with Scherzer and Darvish. Who you got tonight?
It's tough. I lean towards the Padres over the 3 games. Just because I think losing a series like the Mets did in Atlanta, getting swept, and yes, I know they ended up sweeping the Nationals, but that just leaves you with a tied record, knowing that if you just hadn't gotten swept by Atlanta, you would have been the team with the bye. I think that plays a mental game more than anything else. I think on paper, I would take the Mets. Obviously, 101 wins. They were a better team than the Padres. My worry, though, it's the same worry I have for the Guardians. If you can't hit the ball out of the yard, you can't win in the postseason. That's what it is. And, people can long for the days where you won 1-0 and it took bunting guys over.
You remember the old Cardinals with Vince Coleman and Willie McGee, and they used to win with small ball, right?
Right. There's a reason why all those championships happened in the 60s and not in the 2000s for the Cardinals. It's just, you got to hit it out. Even the Guardians today, what they win on, a team that prides themselves on pitching in small ball, won on a 2-run homer. It's just kind of how it goes. Mets have the pitching advantage for sure. The other thing in their favor is the Padres are 28th in baseball against fastballs 95 and up. You're going to see a lot of 95 from Scherzer. If Buck Showalter isn't an idiot and throws Jacob deGrom in game 2, you've essentially assured yourself of getting the best possible matchup against a Padres team that has, they've got Juan Soto and they've got Manny Machado, but they're not very well-rounded. They're very top-heavy. And if the Mets can gain a quick lead, the Mets have a pretty bad bullpen. They've got Edwin Diaz and Adam Ottavino. Aside from that, not a good bullpen. Padres have an even worse bullpen. So you can flip a coin on this one. I think if it goes 3 games, I'm going to pick the Mets. I love you, Darvish. I want to see Darvish get the win. Hasn't been great in the postseason, but I just love you, Darvish. He's such a fun guy.
He is. Yeah, I do know. Look, I won't even say what I was going to say right there because we've got Dylan Short on with Rick Kamla here on Bettor Sports Live from 680 The Fan in Atlanta. So, Dylan, I would like, and if this is like putting you too much on the spot, just say pass, Family Feud style, and we can move on. Because I was just breaking down the bolt, right, of the Steve Harvey. He was at the Abu Dhabi game yesterday in the NBA. I thought that was pretty cool. But break down the bullpens. And look at the top 4 teams, right? Like usual suspects here. The Yankees, the Dodgers, the Astros, and the Braves. I believe of those 4 teams, the Astros have the best bullpen. of those 4 teams. Are you going to tell me Braves? You're going to tell me, you're not going to tell me Yankees. I know that. Are you going to tell me
No.
Dodgers?
No, I think they're clearly it's 3. It's Braves, Astros, and Dodgers. Yankees are the worst bye in this. They're the worst of the top 4 seeds. I think there's a real chance that they get beat by whoever comes out of Cleveland and by the Yankees. The Astros and the Braves are my 2. I don't know which one I think is better. I think the Braves are more proven. I love, though, that the Astros – and Christian Javier is not going to be in the bullpen. He might be in the bullpen for the DS. Once you get to the CS and it goes to 7, Javier's in their rotation. But Hunter Brown being in there, because Luis Garcia is pretty good. Urquidy's not somebody I would trust as a bullpen guy because he relies on contact. I don't think contact-oriented relievers are a good thing. When you're bringing in guys out of the pen, you want them to be able to shut guys down in order and give up no contact at all. So I don't think that's Urquidy. I love Ryan Presley's really good. The Astros have a really, really good bullpen. I think the Astros and Braves, you could kind of flip a coin. I like the experience on the side of the Braves. I love Raisel Iglesias. But I wouldn't hate it if you said the Astros had it. I think they're pretty close to even. They're as close to even as any other matchup. And I think that's why those are the 2 teams I have going to the World Series.
Bullpens are so crucial, man. I mean, think about the Cardinals game today. They're up 2-0. You get the home run from Yepes, and their manager, boy, did he botch that game today, right?
The dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Like brought in the dumbest thing I've ever seen is Kevin Cash pulling Blake Snell out of Game 6 of the World Series a couple of years ago after 75 pitches and giving a World Series to the Dodgers, Dylan. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Not having anybody warming up behind Helsley and letting your closer be the only really good piece in that bullpen, and you let him throw 40 pitches and wear it. That means he's definitely not pitching tomorrow. He might not even be able to go in Game 3. That was
what happened to his hand. I was working on the show and had the sound down because it's distracting. It was a great call. It was Michael K and A-Rod, and I was like 2 into the call, and it was messing me up with work. So I had to turn the sound down. What happened to his hand? They left the game. I saw him flexing his hand. Is there some kind of issue with him now, an injury or what?
Right towards the end of the season, he got hit in the finger with a comebacker, and he missed a couple games because of it. Now, flexing the hand like that might be a little bit of an excuse. Like, no, that's why I couldn't throw strikes. That's why. Helsley's usually pretty good at throwing strikes. If he did jam a finger, particularly an index or a middle finger, you're gripping the baseball with some combination of those 2 on every pitch. And if he doesn't have the same amount of feeling in it, especially for a guy that his slider is such a big part of his arsenal, that could be part of the reason why. And if you're the Cardinals, you don't really have another avenue to turn to. Jordan Hicks can throw at 101. Doesn't really know where it's going, though. Palante looks nice. Same thing. Not always know where it's going. That's why I wasn't big on the Cardinals. I never understood the people going all in on the Cardinals this year. When you look at their roster, they're the worst roster in the postseason, top to bottom. Yeah, they got Goldie and Arenado, and yeah, Pujols has got 24 bombs in his walkaway year. But that's the worst rotation, hands down, of anyone in the postseason. And their bullpen's
They started Quintana today in Game 1. Are you kidding me? Quintana? I know he's been pretty good, but Quintana's the best you got?
And even him, he's only going 5 innings.
Right.
Like, Waino's dealing with arm fatigue. He's got dead arm already. He's 1,000 years old. That's not what you want to see going into a postseason.
No, it is not. Tyler Soda just sent me, our producer here. The Cardinals have sent closer Ryan Helsley out for x-rays and images to determine whether they need to place him on the IL. He lost feeling in his finger that he jammed Tuesday in Pittsburgh, going back to what you were saying about getting hit with that comebacker right there. They're done. Helsley had him on a bunch of my fantasy teams this year, Dylan. Absolute rock star. He gave you holds, gave you Ks. The ratios were fantastic. He's a stud. They are toast without Ryan Helsley.
Yeah, and by the way, you had a chance to win the Zach Wheeler start. Good luck taking the Aaron Nola start tomorrow.
Great point. Dylan Short, I'm enjoying the hell out of this, man. Let's talk about Ronald Acuna, okay? Again, had him in a bunch of my fantasy leagues. The home run total, not what you wanted. The RBI total, not what you wanted. The steals were nice. The batting, it was a weird year. I anticipated not a typical Acuna year coming off the injury, right? I did build those expectations in. But he still fell short of even those reduced expectations. So where's he at health-wise, Dylan? Talk to me. I saw him like early in the season checking up on some plays and not really like laying out and going full bore for balls. I think he was still trying to maintain and manage his body a little bit and protect his body a little bit. You watch every play of every game. Okay. So what are you seeing from Ronald Acuna? Do you feel like he's ready to have just a badass takeover playoff run?
Oh, yeah. So the thing with Ronald, while he was kind of not running everything out, that was directed from the team. There was a scare on a play pretty early when he came back, and he missed a little bit of time because of he was diving. What was it? He went for a double, and he came up limping a little bit, and said his knee was killing him. And that's to be expected when you have major surgery on your knee. And again, 24 years old, never had a major injury before, so it's a little bit different feeling. For the power aspect, Ronald is a little bit different. It takes a little bit longer to get your explosion in your lower half. That's where you get your home run power. And especially for a guy like Ronald, who he's not the biggest guy in the world. He's got tons of power, but it's because he's the most explosive guy in Major League Baseball. If you don't have that explosion, that's why you'll see a lot of those doubles you saw from him this year kind of hit at 113 and it one hop the wall. Those are out normally. That's probably missed about 5-7 feet off of his home run distance. You saw him get a couple towards the end. Towards the end of the season, you saw the ball really jumping off his bat. But a lot of it was just the timing. Because he keeps those hands so low and he's got to bring them back a little bit, timing's a big part of his game. And if he's off a little bit, he's going to be hitting ground balls, which early on, when you look at his numbers and you wonder why his numbers were so far down, despite being one of the best in baseball, hitting the ball hard, he was hitting it in the ground. He looks a lot better now. And the record, if you want to see something crazy, go look at the Braves record with Ronald Acuna versus without. It is massive, and it shows that even if he's not at the Ronald Acuna top of his game, he's the engine that makes the rest of the team tick. Without him, the Braves don't do anything. He's the table setter, and even if he doesn't have the same explosive power, there's not a pitcher in Major League Baseball that would not rather pitch to Dansby Swanson than Ronald Acuna. You don't want to be the one on that highlight when he hits at 490.
He's Fernando Tatis is the same way in the Padres. They're completely night and day different when they have him. They have that spark, that vibe, that magic, that spirit. And when he's out, they don't. They're just a team. It's a great observation right there. I feel the same way about the Braves. All right, I want to ask you a couple of Atlanta Falcons questions here, Dylan, and we'll let you go. He's with 680. Dylan Short with 680 The Fan in Atlanta. Oh, my God. Scherzer just gave up a bomb here to Josh Bell with a man on. It is 2-0 Pods. First inning, Dylan. And Max Scherzer just gave up a dinger to Josh Bell. Wow. That's quite the development right there.
Not the one I would have thought. I would have thought Soto would have got him first.
Soto did not look good on that first at bat either. Wow. Wow, that's a development right there. This game is going to be so juicy, man. Okay, but talk to me about the Falcons here and Kyle Pitts. First of all, have the authorities in Atlanta put out an APB on Kyle Pitts. And please clear up this rumor for me, Dylan. Has he even actually played in any of the games this year?
Well, the first game they won this season, they got him a ton of touches, and they won. The Falcons, when they get Kyle Pitts 80 yards receiving, they're undefeated. So you would think the smart play would be, let's make sure he gets 80 yards receiving.
I love it.
Early on, the first two games, he was essentially not there. And there was a ton of heat coming on Arthur Smith, thinking that it was Arthur Smith just not game planning him open. I don't think it's that. I think that it's more Mariota and Mariota's limitations than it is just the Falcons phasing out Kyle Pitts. I would say to Marcus Mariota, Kyle Pitts is 6'5", runs a 4.4, can jump out of the building, has super long arms, and catches really well. I'd probably throw to him before I throw to anybody else. And if he's covered, he's open.
Thank you. Like, your job as a quarterback is to see it, throw it. Your job sometimes, and Matt Ryan was good at this, Dylan, you know that. Throw the man open, okay? Matt Ryan was good at the anticipation throw because he didn't have the strong arm, and so he's got to, like, time it out and see it and throw it and get it out there. Receiver makes his cut and goes out there and catches it. That's Matt Ryan's game. Mariota needs to trust him more, and obviously he doesn't. One more for you, Dylan. We'll let you go here. Do we see Dylan Ritter for the Atlanta Falcons this week?
Not this week. I think if you're going to see Ritter, it won't be till after the bye. Falcons are playing pretty good football right now. And, I don't think Mariota is going to take anything to the promised land or anything. I'd prefer you see Ritter sooner rather than later. especially because if Ritter's not good, then if he's not the guy, I like C.J. Stroud in this class. Bryce Young, maybe, still a little small. I don't know that I buy that. But I also really like Jaron Hall from BYU. Reminds me a little bit of Russ Wilson when he was coming out. A little bit shorter, but he's got a live arm, can run. Really,
that's a swear word for me right now, Dylan. That's
right now, not good.
That's a swear word for me right now. It is.
Russell
Wilson, like it's a swear word, like you're mad at me, like we're about to get in a fight. Russell Wilson, you know what I mean?
Is that the worst NFL game you've ever watched?
I think the Broncos San Fran 11-10 game might have been the worst game ever. I tell you what, do you remember the Buffalo Jacksonville game last year, that 9-6 puke fest? You remember that game, Buffalo down at Jacksonville, when Josh Allen took over the game and rabbed the Jaguar defender? That was one of the worst games I've ever seen. But good point. Good point. Bears Niners week 1 in the remember in the rain that I mean. I literally, like, it was like I got to do something else with my time here. It's killing me.
You think there's a Victor Wembanyama coming up in the NFL draft?
Are people in Atlanta talking about tanking for Victor? Like, is anybody even sarcastically saying that? Because like half the league is going to tank for that dude. You know that, Dylan?
No, we've got DeJounte Murray, and if game 1 is any indication, things can get really fun here, even if we don't play a lick of defense. So Hawks fans are hoping that we can swoop in while everybody else is tanking and get us a nice little run here. I've watched that dude a few times now, and it's probably been since KD, since I've seen a 7-footer that's got that shot. He almost looks like if Porzingis had ever learned how to actually put the ball on the floor.
Right. Good point. The guy is absolutely. I mean, oh my God, the games that he just had in Las Vegas with the 30s and the blocks and the threes and running to the corner like Damian Lillard and just stopping and popping and like splash, it goes in. Like, what?
Hey, what do you do? How do you defend that?
What was that, a lucky shot? No, that was not a lucky shot. It looks like he's really seriously that good. Dylan, you the man. I would love to do this again as we move along here in the playoffs and kind of tap in and plug into the Braves. And obviously, you know a lot about a whole lot of other stuff. So I enjoyed the hell out of this, man. Be well in the A, my old stomping grounds where I spent 11 years. And we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Absolutely, man. We'll keep this going as the Braves and Astros barrel toward a rematch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, enjoy the baseball, man.
Have a good one.
Yes, sir. You too. That is still in short right there, people. And wow, woo, Josh Bell ringing the bell against Max Scherzer. Didn't see that one coming. Okay, so like, are we getting into a pitcher's duel here? Or see, this is why I don't play the total. I like picking games. I like picking players. Ricky Props is going to be in here in a little bit, dropping a bunch of props on you. I don't like totals right now. Maybe I'll come back to them. They're just, no, I'm having success over here picking games and picking players, right? We got to stick with what we're good at. Maybe some of the other voices here, they love totals and they're really great at dialing in totals. Cool. Listen to them. Play their advice on totals. I'm not there. I'm just not comfortable with it. I'm not. Yeah, I think the number was 6 on this game, right? Yu Darvish, awesome. Max Scherzer, awesome. It's going to be a pitcher's duel, right? It's going to be 2-1, and it's going to be well under, and you're not even going to have to sweat the over and the under. And we get a 2-run blast in the first inning from Josh Bell, of all people, off of Max Scherzer. That's why I don't like totals. I just don't like totals. All right. I don't like Nathaniel Hack either. I don't. And so I'm going to start banging on him when we come back. Around the corner, we'll have Jeff Cadillac, NFL analyst. Don't you go anywhere, okay? All y'all out there, Jalen, Dave, Poland, Heavy T, be like them. You're in the app listening. Hit join the show, and you will see, hey, comments. I can make comments. I can tell Kamla he's having a bad hair day. I can tell him that, hey, where's that tie-dye you wore last night? Anything you want. Cam, who do I start? Who do I sit? I'm here for all of it, man, on Bettor Sports Network.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Bettor Sports Network.
We got to get a team in Honolulu. Like, what about that, Ray? You think Oakland? Like, nobody's talking about Honolulu for the Oakland A's to move to. How badass would that be to have a Major League Baseball team? Instead, they want to go to like where it's 120 degrees in the desert of Vegas.
Right.
Ray, they should pick up and go to Honolulu. That would be epic right there for the A's.
They could go to Honolulu, and instead of playing 12 games against a team throughout the course of the year, you just play a 12-game set. Just get it done.
What's the flight from the Bay Area? 4 hours?
It's depending which direction you're going, it's 5.5.
Okay, that's not terrible. You would have to. You'd have to manage the schedule a bit,
right?
But it's doable. Like, you play your West Coast games, and then maybe you give an extra day. Like, you play in San Francisco through Sunday, and then you have your Monday off. Everybody gets their Monday off, and then they play, out in Hawaii for 4 games, and they come back for the weekend.
It's very similar time-wise for us in California, in the Bay Area, to go to Hawaii as it is to go to New York. It's very similar. So yeah, like you're saying, they legit Giants do that to go to the Mets. The A's do that to go to the Yankees. They do it, so it would be very similar.
They would be what they got. They've already got the baseball background. I mean, they're dominant. The island loves their baseball. And Ray, you could even rebrand the team from the Oakland A's to the Oakland Lays. You can do the Lays, Ray. Look at that.
Good. That's actually, there's no way that would ever happen, but that's pretty good, Kyle. On the fly.
I'm giving away like free marketing right here.
Good work.
Right on the show.
The plan is for them to stay here, but the fans hate them. I don't know if the city likes them. They can't. I mean, it's embarrassing. I don't know. The plan
There's
is
a lot of land in Hawaii. Just think about the views, Ray, of the Pacific. It would put your crap ballpark in San Francisco to shame. Like, everybody thinks that's a good view.
Right.
They'd have like waterfalls and real palm trees and the Pacific Ocean.
People
they
trolling
would make,
fire in the 7th
they
inning
would
stretch.
make the Giants Park look like, the vet in Philly. It would look that awful if they moved to Hawaii.
And then you go to your flip-flops or shorts. They serve Mai Tais. They give lays away. Or, the first 5,000 fans, whatever.
Well, everybody in the chat room loves it. Every time I get a compliment, I don't bring it up on the show.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I don't want to be that guy.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Bettor Sports Network.
It's Rick Kamla. We're back on Bettor Sports Live. And the new bettorsports.com website is here. Bettorsports.com. That's with an O. Bettorsports.com. The website is here. There's much rejoicing. While you were listening on the app, you can see our program schedule, upcoming prizes for giveaways, plus the Bettor Sports Network marketplace featuring shirts, steel tumblers, blankets, beanies, and more, all available at bettorsports.com. And so I want you to check out. We're very proud and excited about the website, bettorsports.com. Get there, live there, hang out there, and do whatever you need to do. Jeff Cadillac joining us right around the corner here. It is 2-0 Padres in the bottom of the first inning. 1 out, man on second. Francisco Lindor just stole second. And McNeil's up to bat. Line drive, and this is going to be a 2-1 game, folks. Oh, they hold him up at third. That was such a sharply hit ball by McNeil through the hole between first and second that they held up Lindor at third. He hugs Manny Machado as he gets to third base here. But first and third, 1 out for the Mets. And the fans are already like in full throat, jumping up and down, standing up. I freaking love New York, man. I lived there. I love going there. I love New York, man. I mean, I freaking love New York. I love their fans, how passionate they are. It's just the good stuff, man. It is the absolute good stuff. It gets me hype, as they say. The Denver Broncos need to fire Nathaniel Hack right now. Right now, in this moment, I am waiting on the Schefter bomb. The Broncos have relieved head coach Nathaniel Hackett of his duties. Just rip off the Band-Aid and be done with it. After adding another Alonso just jerked one way out of the park, but foul. You remember Hackett added the guy to help him out with decision-making, right? Has that worked? Let's go to last night. At the end of regulation, the Colts are out of timeouts, right? 2:19 to play. Broncos lead by 3. They had a 3rd and 4 at the Indianapolis 13. Hackett said after the game, we wanted to be sure that we were able to get a first down. Okay, that's fine. You can go for the first down, but they didn't try to get the first down. Russell Wilson went for the kill shot and threw an interception because it was a terrible read and a terrible throw. A more conservative approach, ladies and gentlemen, even if they did not get the first down, would have led to a field goal, okay? And a field goal would have meant a 6-point lead. In a game with 0 touchdowns, you're up 6. Nobody's even really approaching a touchdown in this game. You got to run the ball right there. You got to read the room. You got to understand what the game needs. It's a field goal game. You've been winning ugly or losing ugly all year. You're playing down in the quagmire and all these low-scoring games all year. Take the points. Play conservative. They didn't. They went for it, and it blew up in their face. Then the Colts drive down the field for the game-time field goal. In overtime, the Colts get another field goal to take the lead. So the Broncos then drive down the field clutchly, and they're faced with a 4th and 1 at the Indianapolis 5. Okay, again, Nathaniel Hackett, not for the win, for the loss. It wasn't 4th and goal, it was 4th and 1, okay? You can run Melvin Gordon right there for a possible 1st and goal. Instead, the Broncos telegraph what they're doing. The Colts know a throw is coming. Stephon Gilmore gets in front, knocks it away, game over. And so this guy right here, Nathaniel Hack, is the only NFL, and Alonso just struck out. Wow, that's a big moment right there. 1st and 3rd, 1 out, and Alonso just struck out. The only NFL coach that I have ever seen who is worse than Nathaniel Hackett is Urban Meyer. He is the only one that is worse. Urban Meyer is the worst coach at any level I've ever seen in my life. From the coaching to the off-the-field stuff, kicking his kicker in the shin for missing kicks. Like, you've got to be kidding me, bro. You have run amok. I still can't believe Fox has put him on their desk once again for their big new kickoff show. I see my guy, Jeff Cadillac. He's chilling. Jeff, I think I see the glare of the TV on your face right here. Are you watching college football, or did you watch Josh Bell ring the bell against Max Scherzer in the Mets and Padres game?
I'm just listening to you rant and rave about Nathaniel Hackett, and I can't agree more.
I'm going to continue my spiel here on Nathaniel Hackett, Jeff, when we let you go. I would like you to take this great platform on Bettor Sports Network, Rick Kamla with Bettor Sports Live here on a Friday night. The floor is yours. What are your particular problems and hangups with Nathaniel Hack?
Well, considering that the guy's never been an offensive coordinator before, as much as he liked to call himself an offensive coordinator, he wasn't the guy calling the plays in Green Bay. Matt LaFleur was calling the plays, and that was the problem. This guy comes across. See, the NFL, unfortunately, is all about right now, and they like to prop everybody up. I mean, everybody. You mentioned some bad coaches. The funny thing is that guy who coached. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. Indianapolis Colts. He had Peyton Manning, and he seemed to screw that up as a coach. I think it was Jim Harwell.
Are you thinking of Jim Caldwell?
Jim Caldwell. Yeah, there you go. Jim Caldwell, to me, coaches that ever was. Then you got Bill O'Brien. He's pretty bad as well.
Oh my God, good call. Great call on Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien. Let me tell you something. Houston is going to be bad years because of what total roster. It's terrible.
No doubt.
It's like
No doubt.
it's unbelievable. Right now I feel bad for Lovie Smith because he's playing with a bunch of Division 1A players. They're playing their heart out in Texas, but the team is really going nowhere. And it's because Bill O'Brien basically took a hatchet to that team. I mean, that team wasn't going to the Super Bowl, but they were at least a playoff contender. And he turned it into like, okay, let's bring this team in, kick the crap out of them, pay them their money, and they can go home, like in college. So
I love it. Jeff, I'm buying everything you're selling right now. Vogelbach just flew out deep to the warning track. I mean, like one of those moonshots. You think it might be leaving, and the guy, Soto in right field, caught it literally right at the yellow line at the tape. Almost a 3-run dinger for Vogelbach and the Mets right there. Jeff, I want you to, we're just getting to know each other here. Second time I've interviewed you. I am not a hot take guy. I am not a yell fire in a theater guy. I'm not. I tend to be measured and patient. I am passionate and intense and all that. And I sometimes foam at the mouth a little bit, but I bailed on my Broncos Super Bowl prediction. Like, I'm out. So I cashed that in right now. I'm out. I folded. They had a rash of injuries last night. Russell Wilson doesn't look like the same guy, the whole thing. So
terrible.
I'm out. It is what it is. I apologized. And so I'm hoping that people forgive. They may not forget, but I just please forgive me for that call. Anyway, all kidding aside here, I believe that Russell Wilson is washed for a variety of reasons. Like, he's still going to play in the NFL and still going to make money, but we're not going to get big stats. We're not going to get any more Super Bowls. Like, that version of Russell Wilson is gone, flushed, vaporized, 6 feet under. Do you agree?
You know what? I think right now it's like a car wreck in Denver. Everybody's watching just to see what happens because you got that morbid curiosity kind of going. You had fans leaving left and right yesterday. I'm sure management is looking at this as being like, listen, this guy, we didn't bring Russell Wilson in to lose 12-9 in overtime. This is not the kind of we want to lose, or 11-10. I mean, this is like ridiculous. I'm almost embarrassed watching those games because this is not the Russell Wilson that I know. And I don't know why they don't let him call the plays. I don't understand why why you have all these offensive coordinators in the NFL when you quarterbacks who could definitely call some plays. If you gave Russell Wilson plays in the game yesterday, especially, the score would have been different because he sees what Nathaniel Hackett doesn't. He sees what everybody else doesn't. He sees what the defense is bringing, where they're moving and everything. He's watching the film. So why can't these guys just call their own plays? Why does he have to just, I don't understand. It was so boring. I mean, you're talking about 5 punts for Denver yesterday, 2 interceptions. He sacked 4 times. And they're going back and forth with field goals? Really, on Thursday night? I don't know.
It's absolutely brutal, man. Jeff Cadillac, NFL analyst, hanging out with Rick Kamla here on Bettor Sports Live. Let's go to the Week 5 slate here, Jeff. Let's go to Sunday Night Football, big old game. 2-2 Cincinnati at 2-2 Baltimore. I like Cincinnati plus the 3.5 here. Who you got?
I got to tell you something. I was looking at this game. This is one of the toughest games on the schedule. It's a division game, which is always tough. Division games, all the fans and everybody, they have to understand that a division game is tougher to figure sometimes than a game that's not against a division rival. And I do like Cincinnati in this game because Cincinnati does have a very good record at Baltimore. And what gives me like sleepless nights almost is the Baltimore secondary. They can be beat. They're terrible. They're overrated. John Harbaugh is probably turning over in his sleep, thinking about who's going to get beat next week. And Joe Burrow, come on, he's already proven that he's a student of the game. He's watching film on the secondary to see where they move, where they don't move, how they make mistakes. I like Joe Burrow in this game. I like the fact that also the offensive line is finally getting together for Cincinnati. So, the fact that they're the away team, sort of, the visitor, that doesn't scare me much. I agree with you on this, Rick. I think Cincinnati's going to come out and they're going to win the game outright. I like them.
I don't feel like Baltimore has their stuff together, right? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's fleeting. John Harbaugh gives away another victory with a terrible coaching move. Lamar Jackson's killing it, and then he's not. Like at the end of the Miami game, they're like a car that's running out of gas. Like it goes and then poopa and then poopa. I don't know. It's weird. It's like they're sputtering. The Bengals, to me, are gaining traction. They lost 2. They didn't play their guys in the preseason. They were slow to get out of the gates. It all makes sense. And now, boom, boom, they've won 2 games, and they look like the Bengals that I thought they would be. That's a very, very talented football team, Jeff, as you know. Let's go to Eagles and Cardinals. Big old game. The Eagles, of course, the last undefeated team in the National Football League. What was the year that undefeated Dolphins team? 72 Dolphins. Are they popping champagne after a Cardinal victory, knowing that they will be that last undefeated team, or does Philly keep it going here, Jeff?
You know what? This has the makings of an upset. Philadelphia is probably looking at this game as being like, oh, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Maybe, well, obviously they're not looking at it as, but it's a trap game. Arizona, from week to week, they look different. They look to also be gaining some traction. I mean, okay, they beat a terrible Carolina team last week, but the defense played well. And Arizona happens to be very good against the rush. So I'll tell you something. I like Arizona at home here. A lot of people are going to be thinking that Philadelphia is going to be going 5-0. I like Arizona here at home. I think they got something. It could be the upset of the week.
Pardon me. I had Arizona coming into the season in the playoffs, so not like Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson, but nevertheless an upset. Phillies -5 in this game. I'm on the Philly side of this one right here. Let's go to Jeff Cadillac, NFL analyst, on with Rick Kamla here. How about Cowboys and Rams, man?
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that game.
I like them a lot. I like the Rams -5.5 a lot here. I think this is the correction game for Cooper Rush. What you got?
I hate to disagree with you on this one, but I'm liking Dallas's defense. I think, I was talking to Dr. Roto on Monday night and the whole gang, and I said, this is not the same Rams team that went to the Super Bowl last year. They are not playing the same. Matthew Stafford has reverted to his Detroit days. He's getting too comfortable with Cooper Kupp. He's looking for him only. The rest of the offense is stagnant. I don't really like the Rams right now. They're a team that hasn't showed me much. They've come out lame against Buffalo. They let Atlanta come back. They barely beat Arizona. They look lame. I loved San Francisco on Monday night. Dallas's defense is letting teams run up and down the road, run up and down the field, but they're not letting them get in the end zone. It's a big difference. So when you look at how many yards they're giving up, that doesn't matter. It's the points allowed that they're giving up. They're not giving up too many points. And Stafford, he was sacked 7 times against San Francisco. Dallas is going to be all over him. And Stafford right now, he really doesn't. He's not motivated to really win. He had to prove himself last year. Everybody was doubting him. He said, "Oh, okay, let me show you." He had a good season. He's reverting back to his Detroit ways. I like Dallas to win this game. Take the points, Dallas all the way. That's my pick of the week. Rick,
Jeff, I like it, and I like the sell job and the whole thing. I do, man. I'm on the other side of that, but you make a bunch of great points, man. That's why we're having you on. By the way, Trent Grisham just went whap and just destroyed a Max Scherzer pitch. I believe it went up the facade. It didn't go upper deck, but I think it hit the facade and then fell down into that first little area of the outfield there at Citi Field. 3-0 Padres with 2 blasts in the first 2 innings off of the still great Max Scherzer. I was going to say the once great Max Scherzer. That seems a little hot takey right now. It's 2 innings of baseball, and he is one of the all-time great pitchers, but he's getting bombed tonight so far. All right, let's talk Dolphins and Jets here, man. You've got, obviously, Teddy B trying to keep it rolling for Miami. You've got Zach Wilson coming off the thrilling come-from-behind win at Pittsburgh on Sunday. Miami's laying 3.5 here. It's not going to be the prettiest game played in Week 5 in the NFL, Jeff, but who you got here, Dolphins and Jets?
Okay, I like the Dolphins in this game, and I'll tell you why. The Dolphins, Teddy Bridgewater, he's not your usual backup that's been sitting on the bench for 3 seasons with a clipboard. He's actually played some definite important games in his career. He filled in nicely with New Orleans. He was there with Minnesota. Everywhere he's gone, he's proven that he still has it. And in the Miami New York Jet rivalry, the last 25 games, the road team is 17-8 against the spread. But I still like. I'll tell you something. Last week's game was an anomaly for the Jets because the Pittsburgh Steelers were up 20-10, and then they Mike Tomlin did a rookie mistake. If you're going to change quarterbacks, you don't change them at halftime. You let the guy get a full week's back, reps with the first team. You tell him, okay, we're going to make the change. You bring him in at halftime. He comes in. He's trying to do too much. He can't read the defenses. Kenny Pickett comes in, throws 3 interceptions. Pittsburgh loses. Zach Wilson looks like the savior. So it was kind of a combination. Zach Wilson this week, he's up against Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater come off the taxi slap. He's been there. He's been doing the reps, and he already had that so-so game when he came in for Tua against Cincinnati on Thursday night. So he's ready, and he likes to come in. Teddy right now, I think what was it? Either last season or the season before. I remember he was with New Orleans. He went like 5-0. He had a very good season. He's ready, and I like Miami. I like Miami's defense. I think they take it to the Jets. Jets go back to being mediocre.
And killing Carl, curb your enthusiasm stuff. The Jets killed Carl. Yeah, the Jets killed Carl. They did. It's one of the great Curb Your Enthusiasm episodes of all time. Let's talk about the London game. I hate London games. I don't like waking up early to watch football. I like sleeping in on Sundays. And I got the Alvin Kamara buzzkill last week. It didn't matter. My team got crushed anyway. But, I had Alvin Kamara in a lineup, and I've been playing fantasy football since 1989, Jeff. So I know what I'm doing. All right.
Wow.
But I still screwed up. When I went to bed, he was playing. When I woke up, he was a late scratch and he didn't play. Okay. But anyway, I don't like the London games, but we got a London game. And I want to ask you about it. Green Bay's laying 8. I like the Pack in this one. Who you got, Giants or Packers?
Well, the funny thing is that every time Aaron Rodgers goes public with some comments, he like kicks butt the next week. It's
sure
like they straighten out faster than you could blink. And when he talks with, like I said, publicly, it's gangbusters. And watch out. And the Giants, they're just in his way. The Giants they're playing above their 3-1 record. They really haven't played anybody. The defense is play. I mean, they beat Chicago, as everybody knows. Chicago has no faith in Justin Fields. The games that they've won, so what? Nothing to write home about. Now they start getting deeper into the schedule. They lost against Dallas. They're going to get a whooping from Green Bay. I think Green Bay is just going to be on all cylinders because they got a little surprise last week. Aaron Rodgers threw that pick 6, and New England was actually up at the half. And then this guy, Bailey Zappi, came in, third string. I mean, he's another guy that I definitely would keep an eye on because if he starts turning things around in New England, it's bye-bye Mac Jones,
Jeff, come on, man. Bailey Zappi is not going to Wally Pitt Mac Jones like that. Mac Jones is the 15th overall pick. He won a national championship, man. Jeff, you're my boy, but I can't rock with you on that. I do not agree with that.
Okay, all right. Well, wait. Listen, he's playing on Sunday. We'll see what happens. But Green Bay, Green Bay, I love Green Bay in this game. They get back on track. Aaron Rodgers said can't win, sustaining the wins can't be like how they did it on Sunday against New England. They get back to business. They rock the Giants' world on Sunday in London.
He is Jeff Cadillac, NFL analyst, hanging out with Rick Kamla here on Better Sports Live. I also think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be enjoying some chicken soup. Chicken soup always makes you feel good when you're sick, right? Tampa Bay is 2-2. They are 0-2 at home. Okay, they are due for regression to the mean, and a bunch of other reasons why I like them. And it's a 10-point spread. Not crazy about the number, but I would lay the 10. I would play the Buccaneers here. I think it's going to be a Buccaneer party against the Falcons down here in Tampa on Sunday.
I almost hate to disagree with you on that one, but Atlanta's been playing very scrappy. They're never out of any game, and they hang around to the end. I could see Atlanta probably getting on this one. I don't see them getting a win. I mean, Tom Brady and company, they haven't looked good in the last 2 games. They started against Kansas City with that, the kickoff that was fumbled right away. It put them in a hole right away. So they were chasing Kansas City the whole night, and the Tampa Bay defense, I mean, they couldn't do anything. They couldn't stop anybody. It was pitiful to watch. Against Atlanta, they'll probably have some more success. They'll get back on the road. But I think 10-point spread, there'll be some kind of backdoor cover. I'm thinking Tampa Bay wins by like 7 or 6.
Okay, so you got a backdoor cover there for Atlanta. They have been plucky. They have been overachieving a little bit. They really have. I got to give them credit for that. Not having Cordero Patterson to me is a big deal. He is kind of the engine that makes that offense go. But Jeff, we'll see how it works out. One more for you, man, and we'll let you go here. Chargers and Browns. The Chargers are laying 2.5. And so where are you at with this one? This to me is a difficult game to handicap. How about you?
I like the way Justin Herbert, he comes back in a game. The Browns, to me, the wild card there is Jacoby Brissett. That game against Atlanta, he just didn't come through. And the Chargers are playing a lot better on defense. Bosa's out, but you still got Khalil Mack to take more charge. He's got 5 sacks, but he's 3 were in the first game. The Chargers got an explosive offense. You got Keenan Allen, you got Austin Eckler. But Herbert knows how to spread the field. He's not one of these guys that just falls in love with one guy and says, all right, we're going to pass it to him, 12 times, 15 times. Cleveland, their defense has been known to disappear. And that's the problem. They got a great run game. Don't get me wrong. What's his name? Chubb and Hunt. It's a nice 1-2 tandem right there. The defensive line sometimes doesn't play the best, but I like the Chargers here on the road, laying 2.5 or 3. I think they win by like about 4 or 5.
Jeff, are you a baseball fan? Are you watching these games, or when you get off here, are you going to be watching these baseball games?
I will tell you, I used to be a big Yankee fan back in the day. I could talk your ear off about, all my Yankee experiences and everything, but to me, baseball has become very boring. It's almost like, it's either like a strikeout or kind of like a home run. And I know about Scherzer living in, I'm here in New York, but the guy's getting all this money. He's got to win playoff games. Bottom line, it doesn't matter. You could be 30-0 during the regular season, but you got to come playoff time. You have to win the games.
You do, my friend. You do. But we really appreciate your time. All right. So you think baseball is boring? That's fine, man. Enjoy all the football that you're going to be watching this weekend, Jeff, and we will talk very, very soon. Be well, my friend.
Thank you, Rick. And you have a very good, safe, and happy weekend.
All right, that's Jeff Cadillac right there. Love me some Jeff Cadillac. We have fun here on Bettor Sports Network. So Sterling Marte at second base, and good to see him back. He was not available for a championship run on a major team of mine in fantasy baseball. I told you some good stories last night, right? Pretty good year in fantasy baseball for me. I had 9 teams. One of them, I had one of the all-time pitching staffs of all time, but my offense cratered. I lost Crone. I lost Adolis Garcia. I lost Luis Robert, and I lost Starling Marte. Boom! All in the middle of the playoffs. Poof! My offense vaporized. Somehow, some way, I won the semifinal game to get to the final game, right? And get that second place money. And I won the regular season, so I got a nice chunk of change for doing that. But my offense, it just got obliterated in the 2-week final game by the other team because I was without literally probably my 4 best offensive players all vanished. So that's a bad story to tell, although I did make money on the league. So that's something in my 8 Yahoo leagues. I don't even want to talk about the 2 rotisserie leagues. I finished like 6th and 7th, right in the middle. Who cares? I'm done with rotisserie leagues. They suck. They're so damn boring. I was in 3 dynasty leagues and then 3 redraft leagues. In the 3 redraft leagues, I got 2 championships and 1/3. In the dynasty leagues, I got 1 championship and 2/3. So I did all right. I'm pretty happy with it. I'll take 3 championships out of 6, either dynasty or redraft leagues. It's pretty good. I'll take it, man. 50% percentage on that. And again, I'll up my percentage next year because the 2 rotisserie leagues will be either another dynasty league or a redraft league. And I plan on, I'll give you my ratio here. Let me go to my stats on Yahoo here real quick for fantasy baseball. My rating got boosted up to 932, which is well into the diamond rating here. Ooh, wow. I think I was late on refreshing or something. I'm up to 943 with my rating in Yahoo leagues. I got a plus 13 for this last week. Won all of my games, like I said, the 3rd place games and all that kind of stuff. I have now. Wow, I'm pretty psyched to be reading this right now. I've got 8 championships in 16 teams on Yahoo baseball leagues. So 50% of the time I win the championship. I literally didn't know that until I just checked that out. I thought it was like 40% or something like that. I'm kind of like pretty happy about that. 8 championships in my 16 teams. I've won trophies in 11 of the 16 leagues. So don't mess around with me, Rick Kamla, in Yahoo fantasy baseball leagues, whether it's a dynasty league or a redraft league. I'm definitely coming to kick your ass. And it worked out pretty well for me this year. You say, Cam, how do you have all of this success in fantasy baseball leagues? And it's very, very simple. And this methodology works both for dynasty leagues and for redraft leagues. Okay. It's different, right? In terms you try to go a little bit younger and all that kind of stuff in a dynasty league, and you might hold on to a player a little bit longer in a dynasty league, who's underperforming, like a Javi Baez or a Carlos Correa, because you know that next year might be that like bounce back year. So there's some different thinking with that, but there's still the same structure of my team and going for statistics. And what I do is I get all of my offense early in the draft, And then I set up my offense so it's just turnkey, and I don't have to do a whole lot with it during the year, unless there's an injury, of course. But catcher, first, second, short, third, 3 outfield, 1 or 2 utils. All right, bang, 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 bang. Right at the top of the draft. I don't mess around. No pitchers. I'm not going for Scherzer, Kershaw, Bueller. You can have all those guys. I don't go for any of them. I don't care. You can have them. I'll make it work with the guys in the middle. And like I said, I'm 8 out of 16 winning championships with this method. It's proven. It is absolutely proven. You can duplicate this, okay? Here's what you do. You get your hitters early, okay? And you're loaded. You don't fill every single hitting spot, but I basically get all of the spots, and then I've got like maybe the 2 utils open. And then I start going on to the pitching. And I start with closers. I don't even start with starters. I'll get a Diaz, I'll get a Kenley Jansen, I'll get the big boys, right? Guys I know are going to give me 30 to 40 saves. And then I'll go with 4 or 5 relievers. So I've always got just stacked, always a bunch of relievers going at you every single night. 5 relievers, 4 relievers, save, 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 save. I never lose saves. It's very easy not to lose saves. You just have to have a lot of closers. It's not that hard. And it's not that hard to get a lot of closers. You have to prioritize them in the draft, and you have to stay on top of bullpens throughout the season. It's not that hard. But that's a methodology. And then starting pitching. It's my specialty in fantasy baseball, is starting pitching. And like the betting advice that I gave you was all born of my knowledge about starting pitchers, right? That 75% of my analysis on money lines in baseball is starting pitchers. And I was like 16-8. I can go to the top of my rundown here and let you know the numbers on baseball. 16-8 during the regular season. Now I'm on the hook right now with a Max Scherzer start that's not going real well, and that was an official play that I gave you. So our numbers may dip a little bit with this game tonight, but with the starting pitchers, so I start taking them around round 10, 11, 12, 13, and then like I'm banging starting pitchers, right? Like round 13, round 14, round 15, round 16, round 17, just sleepers. And guys like Marco Gonzalez, Charlie Morton. And then through the season, like you pick up, let me go to a couple of these teams, and you just hop on lily pads. All you do is hop on lily pads. Pick up a pitcher. He's rolling 5-6 starts, kicking ass. He gets blown up once. All right, I got my eye on you now. He gets blown up a second time. Flush. You're gone. You're back on waivers. You start up with another guy who's starting to get hot and get some traction, and you look for that little lily pad to hop onto, and then, okay, this guy's doing it for me. 4 or 5 starts. All right, you got blown up. Where are we going here? All right, next start. He got it right. 7 strong, 2 earned, got the win. Cool. I'm going to hang in there with you. It's not that hard. This is what I do. So, to go to one of these teams. So it's late in the year. You pick up Garrett. You pick up Oviedo. You pick up, I had Springs on my team, but obviously I didn't start the season with him. He was a pickup. I picked up Jamison Tyone, who had a great year. I picked up Miles Mikolas, who had a great year. Picked up Hunter Green late in the year, coming off the injury, the strikeout guy. Picked up Marcus Stroman. He was on and off waivers all year. Picked up Tyler Anderson off of waivers. That was a championship team. Okay? Those aren't Kershaw and Scherzer and DeGrom. You don't have to have those guys, okay? And my hitting lineup was pretty good. Will Smith, Jose Abreu, Edman, Devers, O'Neal Cruz, Acuna, picked up McCarthy, picked up Meneses, Correa, Dela Cruz. I had Marte on IL, right? So really good hitting. And I always got to have steals. Got to have steals, folks. Most of your games are going to come down to home runs and steals. So that's the methodology, man. And we'll be talking more about this in the spring as we ramp up for fantasy baseball. But I have a method that I'm like an infomercial in here, right? I've got this sealant tape that you're going to be able to put on your house and, all this kind of stuff. But it literally is a proven method here. It is a proven method. Why are you going to waste precious bench spots with offensive players who are never going to make your lineup, and you are wasting 3-man spots using offensive players at your bench spots? Why are you doing it? You are losing the math war every week in doing that. And you say, well, Cam, if I have all these extra hitters, then on a Monday or a Thursday, when my guy's off, then I've got a guy to put in for him. And what I say to that is, and what I've found in terms of the math, is that one start by that one guy is you are getting 1 day out of 7 from that guy. And it might be an 0 for 4. Okay? So think about that. You're using a spot for an entire week for a guy who might start 1 game for you, Oh, yeah, you're going to be able to bump that guy into your lineup on a Thursday. Good for you. Ooh, there's a week where you're going to be able to bump that guy into your lineup twice on Monday and Thursday. Okay, here's what I'm doing with that spot. I'm going out to get Tyler Anderson. Tyler Anderson this year, folks, had let me go to his numbers here real quick. He was the 45th best player in Yahoo leagues. He had a 2.57 ERA, a 1 whip, 15 wins, and 138 strikeouts in 178 innings. That's what I'm doing with that spot. Nobody started the season with Tyler Anderson on their team. Not one person. Unless you're in a 25-man league, right? Nobody started with him. Pickup, one of the pickups of the year. I had Tyler Anderson all over the place because this is what I do. I track pitching. You have a hot start, I got my eye on you. You have a second hot start, boom, I'm picking you up. It's that simple. And a lot of times I'll pick you up after that first hot start. If I watch the game and you're blowing people away and like I'm like, oh my God, I got to get this guy, right? It's not that hard. But you got to go very starting pitcher heavy. And it's all volume. It's all about getting strikeouts. It's all about getting wins. Now I will say this, ERA and whip, all right? You're going to get doors blown a lot of times in ERA and whip. You are. But I found that I'd rather guarantee wins and Ks and then play around with ERA and whip. And it's basically a coin flip week to week, right? I'll admit that. It's basically a coin flip. Now, I had some good staffs that had some low numbers and stuff like that, but if you're not going with the consistent top-end guys and you're going with the middle guys and sleepers and lily pad hopping, you are going to have some 5 earned run, 6 earned run games. You are, okay? You're going to have some blow-ups. It's just part of the equation. And so there's going to be weeks where I get blown out of the water in ERA and whip, but I'm beating you in wins and Ks, and I'm beating you in saves. Now I'm 3-2 on you in the 5 pitching categories. Advantage Cam. And like I said, I'm stacking the deck with all these great hitters at the beginning of the year. Now I'm likely to beat you there too. Boom, I got a 6-4, moving on to the next one. We're going to keep winning games and keep billowing our Yahoo rating. It's really not that hard. I will continue to kind of teach and preach that with you guys and help you guys and girls get, to a successful level where you feel like, damn, I'm winning the championship because I got this methodology. I got this math that nobody else knows about. Very few people do this, people. You would think, well, Cam, like, why copycat league and all this kind of stuff? It's because I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. Okay. I'm trying to tell you right now, I'm literally giving you a winning methodology for fantasy baseball. I'm giving it to you right now. Matt Deutsch is paying me to give it to you. Okay. Use it. I'm telling you, it's tried and true. 8 championships in 16 teams in Yahoo leagues. 50% of the time I'm winning championships with this methodology. And I do not deviate from this methodology. Why would I? Like, I don't have a team. All right, this team, I'm going to go take a bunch of Scherzers and DeGroms and like stack it at the top of the Biebers and all these guys. Just for shits and giggles, I'm going to do this and see if this works this time. And then I'll mix and match with some sleeper hitters. I do not deviate from the plan at all because I don't want some rag-ass team at 500 not winning a chip, ruining my winning percentage, ruining my Yahoo rating when I know I've got a tried and true formula. And so I just wanted to dispense that on you guys and girls. I got to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to continue to eviscerate Nathaniel Hackett, who needs to be fired at once. And then Ricky Props is going to be up in here giving you some prop bet advice. I have 15 props upside your mind. We'll go through last night's props as well. Your boy was 7-2 on the prop bets and that puke fest of a game on Thursday Night Football. It's all coming up with your boy Rick Kamla right here on Bettor Sports Live.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Bettor Sports Network.
I got to tell this story, okay? So we're out in Canton, Ohio, and we decide to go eat late at night, like after midnight. We decide to go to the Waffle House. Somehow, Fensty's never been there, even though he lives near it. I'm in New York, New Jersey. There's no Waffle House close by. So if you go to the Waffle House, what are you going to eat more than likely? Pancakes, waffles, eggs, and all that, right? So, of course, our guy Rich, he gets breakfast. I get breakfast. Fensty doesn't. He's never been to a Waffle House. How do you not have waffles? Like, it makes no sense.
Dude, there's a time for waffles.
I eat breakfast at midnight. Come on, man.
That's the thing. I didn't want breakfast, man. I got like, what was it, like a cheesesteak sandwich or something like that?
That's like someone who has never been to IHOP going there and ordering a burger. Who does that?
That I wouldn't do. That I would not.
That's the equivalent of what you did. Well, I don't even know what you had.
I got this steak sandwich, which was
steak sandwich at the Waffle House. Never been there, and that's what you get. You're an odd guy, man. You're an
I'm
odd
not
guy.
an odd guy. I
Yes,
didn't
you are.
breakfast.
Can we get a vote? Can we get a vote in the chat, please? I mean, if you've never been to Waffle House and you get a steak wrap, something's wrong with you, right? Don't you have to get waffles and eggs and bacon and all that? It's the Waffle House.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It was my first time, okay? Ordering the hash browns was already complicated enough. Smothered and covered, and it's almost like it's crazy how much combinations you can have. And I know that everybody's killing me for it right now. And no, to our producers, I don't get pasta at a steakhouse or anything like that.
Chicken
No,
Alfredo, that's what he gets at the
Bro,
steakhouse.
do you follow me on Instagram? I'm always on that grill. You know how much I love steak. Why would I go to a steakhouse and get pasta?
Because you go to Waffle House to get steak wraps. That's why.
I didn't know it was all waffles, bro. I thought it had like a little bit of everything. That's why. You know, I didn't realize they were famous for the waffles. Hey, look. You know,
the name of the place is the Waffle House. What else would they be famous for?
You know what? That's fine. I guess it's a hot sandwich. As long as it was good, I housed that thing in 10 seconds.
Okay, you were never there, and that's the first time. You're not going to try a waffle? Do you admit it was a mistake?
I don't really like waffles.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network.
All right, we're back on Better Sports Live. It is Rick Kamla. Download the free Better Sports Network app and be a part of our live talk shows. Call in, chat, and enter contests with the push of a button. Now available in the Apple app and Google Play stores. Tell all your friends to download the Better Sports Network app. And that's the key right there. Tell all your friends about us, man. We are growing. Let me give you some numbers here on Better Sports Network. Let me go to Twitter right here. And because I was looking at these numbers the other day, and like we're coming, y'all. We really are. I want to put this out, and I want to put this out right here. So our numbers are looking pretty good, man. At Better Sports Network, we've now got 1,240 followers. Look at us, man. Look at us on our way, Matt Deutsch, to getting that blue dot, baby. But 1,240 followers. And you say, hey, that's a small number. We haven't been doing this for very long, and I think that's a nice little number right there. We're in quadruple digits, and jing, 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 jing. You know, like a slot machine, man. We're piling up numbers and followers and fans, and we love all of you guys out there, Jalen and Dave Poland and Heavy T, and everybody out there that click join the show. Bang on the fun button. I'm a stat guy. You know, help your boy Cam Stats. Just go da, 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 da. Bang on the fun button. Are you having fun? I'm having fun. Yu Darvish is having fun. He's rolling right now as the Pods lead the Mets 3-0. How about that, folks? You got a home run, a two-run jack by Josh Bell. You have a massive home run by Trent Grisham, the power-hitting speedy outfielder for the San Diego Padres. But legit, they got to fire Nathaniel Hackett. They do. I tell you what, Tyler Soto got this sound. So let's go ahead and play this right now. I want you to play the rant by Richard Sherman. And I'll complete my thought here on Hackett. We'll move on to some other stuff and prop bets and that kind of thing. But Tyler, play. And this was last. Look, the only good thing going on with Prime Video's coverage, Amazon Prime, Amazon. I don't know. I don't care. I don't like the network. Okay. Al Michaels and his pompous ass and Kirk Herbstreit is guessing on all of this NFL stuff because he does not know our league. He doesn't. It's pathetic. Listening to Kirk Herbstreit talk about the NFL and guess and ask questions. Bro, you're the analyst on Thursday Night Football. You probably make $1 million a game. And you're asking questions about the NFL. The whole thing is so horrible. It's so dreadful. The one shining light of Prime, Amazon, John Cougar Mellencamp, Amazon Video Prime, whatever the hell you call it, is Richard Sherman. And here is him blasting your boy, Nathaniel Hackett, after the game. All right, so we do not have the Richard Sherman sound. After that build-up right there, it's live radio. It's what happens, man. Any old way, he went on a impassioned plea about you should have run the ball. And on that last play when they threw the ball into the end zone, I presume that's what he was talking about. To me, I wasn't even like thinking they should go for it. I'm like, tap the field goal, 12-12, about 2.5 to go, play some defense. Maybe you tie. Is a tie better than a loss? Dave Poland says, I blame Russell Wilson more last night. Me too, Dave. Me too. Last night. And Jalen says, I love Herb Street, but you're right, Cam. He doesn't do the NFL that well. He's awesome at college football. Why did Amazon Prime hire him to do NFL? Why? It's a fish out of water. It's making Herb Street look bad, honestly. It makes him look guessy and like he doesn't know what he's talking about and like he's like flimsy. It's not a good look. And I know he just took the bag. I'm not mad at that or the hustle, but it's brutal. It's awful. To me, this should be a one and done. Herb Street should not be brought back next year. I'm ready for Al Michaels to retire. So I'm just done. Flush the whole crew, man. I think it just sucks. Richard Sherman doesn't, though. And here's what he had to say about Nathaniel Hackett's coaching and going for it with that Russell Wilson throw that was knocked away when he had a wide open KJ Hamler hit it.
Like 1 yard. You need 1 yard. Run the ball. Run the ball. CT. He's triggered. All he has to do is run the football. Like necessary criticism. I'm not, I've said enough criticism for him, but God dang it, run the dang ball. Like, learn from your mistake.
I love that. He almost swore, right, on national TV. God dang, I like that. God dang, because it's not saying, the actual word, and I don't like that. Like, I love God, and I don't want to, curse him out that way. Never do. By the way, great comment right here by Jalen. And I've seen a little bit of this. He said, it's the same with McAfee on College Game Day. Knows nothing about college football and has never followed it. Jalen, you the man. Now, the one thing about McAfee, he's got an awesome personality, right? And he's real big and boisterous and funny and witty and all that. He is. I got to give him credit. That's his secret sauce. It's not necessarily knowledge about sports or interviewing style. Like he talks to his other people while the person they're interviewing is talking. It drives me crazy. What are you doing, bro? Shut up. I'd like to hear Shams Charania talk about Kyrie Irving, right? Like he's in the background. What are you doing, dude? Anyway, I do appreciate McAfee, but on this show, he's just a rah-rah guy. And to Jalen, tell me if you agree with that. He's just a rah-rah guy. He's out there stoking up the crowd and being the heel and doing all that wrestling stuff, right? And so look, on College Game Day, it kind of works because it's a panel show and you got Desmond and you got Corso and you got Herb Street and you've got legitimate analysts, right? And you've got obviously a terrific host in Reese Davis, and then you've got him as the wild card. Okay, fine, I get it. I do. But the Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels thing on Thursday Night Football is god awful. So look, I agree with Richard Sherman, but I don't. To me, the play here was to kick the field goal and tie the game at 12-12. You say, well, Cam, it's a tie. He went for the win. It's the right move. That's cool. That's your opinion. Check this out, though. I want you to answer a question for me. Is a tie better than a loss? I'm going to sit back and wait. Is a tie better than a loss? You tell me. You're damn effing right it is. God dang right it is. Now, David's saying, Dave Poland, Herm Edwards, you played to win the game. I like it. That's funny. But I'm in this situation, I'm playing for the tie. In a game where both quarterbacks sucked and there was nothing going on and no touchdown ever, 7 damn field goals, I'm kicking a field goal. Check this out. This is why he should have gone for the field goal at the end and not tried to win it with that, okay? What gave you the impression that Russell Wilson was going to make the game-winning heroic play? Did he give you any indication at any point in that football game that he was going to throw a laser beam into the end zone for a touchdown? We told you the statistics. He's 2-18 throwing the ball into the end zone this year. The worst in the National Football League. It was not just this week. It's the whole year. But you thought that in this moment, you could have him win the game. It's terrible coaching once again, okay? Think about this. Think about this, people. How many times does a team with that ugly 8-7-1 in the old schedule make the playoffs? Or the 9-7-1 with that ugly ass record make the playoffs? Last year, the Pittsburgh Steelers got a tie at home to the Detroit Lions. And I said at the time, week 8, week 10, whatever it was, I said at the time, The Steelers just made the playoffs because of that tie. And the Steelers made the playoffs because of that tie. They had a 9-7-1 record. Miami, 9-8. The Chargers, 9-8. The Colts, 9-8. Why did the Steelers make the playoffs over those three teams? The tie. That tie against Detroit was better than a loss to Detroit. And they made the playoffs because of that tie. And the Broncos should be 2-2-1 right now. Still alive. But now they're not. They're 2-3. They lost 1 million guys last night. They already had lost 1 million guys. They're literally down like 7 or 8 bad boy starters. They're done. They're toast. And to me, you fire Nathaniel Hackett now. Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk. Love me some Mike Florio. He writes, the buyout is negligible relative to the extreme wealth of the Welton Penner Walmart group. Frankly, if they were making the decision right now, it would not be a difficult one. Bing! Florio for the win. Hackett is as dead as his team. He is so fired. And here's the really ugly spin. No matter who the coach is, your high-priced quarterback is washed. You have ruined your books by signing him to a deal of almost $250 million. And you have ruined your future draft picks, giving up 2 firsts and 2 seconds going forward for Russell Wilson. The Broncos are the most screwed team in the NFL. They're more screwed than your Jets or Carl's Jets. They're more screwed than the Texans. They're more screwed than the Vikings, who can never win anything big. They are the most screwed team in the NFL because of the money they have to pay Russ and because of the draft picks they gave up for Russ and the fact that Russ is all Hollywood and he's checked out on competing and being in good enough shape to be an MVP-level quarterback. Those days are done. The Broncos are the most screwed team in the NFL, and I am out. I've retracted my Super Bowl prediction on them, and I feel really good about it. Ricky Props is in here. Ricky Props back here on Bettor Sports Network. The show is Bettor Sports Live. And you say, wow, the voice is very similar to Rick Kamla. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of, are you guys twins? I'm not going to answer that. I want to leave that out there for your interpretation. So let's get cracking. Ricky Pipes, I humbly submit to you, was on fire last night. And with a couple of exceptions, I don't think I've given you a losing night yet. I really don't. I think the worst nights I've given you are like a 6-6 or a 3-3. Remember that one Sunday? I was like 9-8 with my 17 props, barely over 500. To the top of my mind, I don't think I've given you a losing slate yet. I've given you some non-money winning slates, and I've given you some big-time money winning slates, but I've not had a losing slate yet. And I do not intend on starting that trend now for week 5. But last night, your boy was 7-2. I had the over on Matt Ryan's passing yards, 226.5. We had to go to overtime to get there. Who cares? We got it. 1-0. I had Melvin Gordon, his under on 58.5 rushing yards. He had 54 rushing yards. How you like me now? And you say, wow, you got that one right. How did you get that one right? Well, let's go, and I will tell you. And let's give you some stuff that you can use going forward. I told you last night that Melvin Gordon is not going to be a bell cow back. I told you that. And he was not, okay? It was I don't know, about a 60-40 split with him and Mike Boone, just like I told you. Melvin Gordon had 18 touches. Mike Boone had 10 touches, okay? So that's 60-40, somewhere around there. Pretty much what I told you it would be. How do I know this? Nathaniel Hack. We know what he is. He's a dual running back guy. He is not a bell cow guy. Why would he be a bell cow all of a sudden with Melvin Gordon who's fumbling the ball all over the place? He's not, and he didn't. Melvin Gordon caught 3 passes. Mike Boone caught 3 passes. Mike Boone, 7 for 38. Gordon, 15 for 54. I mean, he came right up against the number, right? But I won because it's what you have to do. You have to come up with theories, and then you bet on those theories, and you hope the theories play out. And this theory played out. And I went under on Melvin Gordon because I knew it wasn't going to be a 20-carry night for him. And it wasn't. It was a 15-carry night. He had 54 hard-earned yards. And that's a winner for your boy. So going forward, again, it's the same as we already knew. Melvin Gordon's going to be the majority back, but he is not going to give you bell cow stuff. And behind now, without the left tackle Bowles and The whole thing is cratering in on them right now. And frankly, his numbers aren't going to be that great at all. He had over 100 total yards last night, caught 3 balls. I mean, it's a very functional, probably 13, 14 fantasy point game. It's fine, right? I'm not mad at it, but it's not great. Probably not enough to get you winning championships around here. So we got the under on Melvin Gordon. There, we're 2-0. Nyheim Hines, we had the under on his rushes at 36.5. Obviously, he got hurt, so we're 3-0. We'll take it. Philip Lindsay, we actually this one, I should have been 8-1 last night. Philip Lindsay was on 38 yards going into overtime and had 1 rush for 2 more yards and got to 40. He got just over the 39.5. So I got that one wrong by a half a yard, and so now we're 3-1 on the night. And going forward, look, Hines is going to be healthy, but this is going to be an amalgam. Hopefully, Taylor can play next week. Deion Jackson looked good last night. 13 for 62. Lindsay off the scrap heap, 11 for 40. He looked pretty good as well. Lindsay caught 3 balls for 14. Jackson caught 4 balls for 29. So if Hines was going to have a good game last night, he was. A lot of those stats would have been going to Nyheim, but Deion Jackson looked pretty good, man. If you want to scoop him up off waivers, you should have already, especially if you're a Jonathan Taylor manager. But nevertheless, that over on Russell Wilson in his rushing yards at 12.5, and his bum ass got us there for a 4-1 start to Ricky Props last night. And that actually happened on his first run of the game in the first quarter. Ding, we win. We're at 4-1 right now. We gave you the over on Cortland Sutton at 66.5 receiving yards. Money, baby, 74. He's gone this year 72, 122, 97, 52, and 74. He's been one of the most consistent wide receivers in the NFL. I love Cortland Sutton. And Russell Wilson is like stupidly locked in on him, right? Like that late interception was because he was too locked in on Sutton. But Sutton managers aren't complaining about it, right? We want a huge target share, and we certainly get that. So we're at 5-1 last night. Jerry Jeudy, 51.5 receiving yards. I took the over on that. He got to 53. He needed overtime to get there. Boom, we'll take it. 6-1. And we had Michael Pittman under 64.5 receiving yards. He entered overtime with like 50 or 45. He did catch a pass in overtime, but it wasn't enough to get him over. Landed on 59, falling short of 64.5. The Patrick Surtain matchup we talked about came in full effect. Boom, we're 7-1. And then the last bet was a loss because of Nyheim Hines' injury. I had the over on his receiving yards at 26.5. He got hurt, so we lose. So we're 7-2 for the night. On the season, your boy Ricky Props in the prop bets, 48-26. 48-26. That's 65%. So we're hitting you a 2 out of 3 right now for the year on prop bets here with Rick Kamla or Ricky Props, as he's in here right now on Bettor Sports Live. So we're pretty psyched about that. And I want to start getting into here some of my prop bets for this week. Let me give you a couple of these, and we'll take a break, and I'll figure it out. So let's get to Aaron Rodgers here in the London game. Tea and crumpets and annoying the hell out of me, and I'm gonna have to DVR the game and watch it on Sunday night because it's just a whole thing. I hate it. I can't stand it. Ray Flowers, you're my boy. I'm not into it. Aaron Rodgers over 231.5. We're going over here. Aaron Rodgers has been over this number the last 3 weeks. I kind of don't understand why this number is as low as it is. He's been over that number 3 straight weeks, going 234, 255, and 251. He's not going way over the number, but he's consistently been over that number for 3 straight weeks. His receivers are rolling the last 2 weeks. Lazard coming along nicely. He's gone from 13 to 45 to 116 last week. Just keeps getting more involved, keeps getting more productive week by week. Romeo Doubs is a thing. He feels like the Packers' number 1. Last week, 8 targets, 5 grabs, 47 yards, and a touchdown. Week 3, 8 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown. We can use these lines in fantasy. These lines are helping Aaron Rodgers get to these yardage totals and throw touchdowns. Now, New York's pass defense is good. They're 8th, giving up 191 yards. I believe that's why this number is pushed down a little bit. I'm not worried about that because I believe that Aaron Rodgers is going to rise. He always does in games like this. Like Jeff Cadillac said, when there's adversity going on, that's when Aaron Rodgers is at his best. And Tom Brady as well. They're that guy. So he's in London. He's going to want to put on a show, and I think he will. I just got a feeling on that. But Aaron Rodgers historically has lit up the Giants. He averages 299 yards in 8 career meetings. All we have to do is get to 231.5. Telling you right now, I like the over. But the most important part is he has guys to throw to now. Okay, Watson's getting involved. He threw a touchdown to Tunyon. He's going to throw a lot to Dillon and Jones on little dump offs and checkdowns and wheel routes. And so he's going to get there. He's got the weapons and the math to get there, right? So that's prop number 1. Woo, Jalen saying, agreed. Hate the Sunday London game. I always DVR it. Thank you. Thank you. So I've got 4 TVs on one wall. Not bragging, just giving you the lay of the land. And so what I do in the early window is there's usually 8 games or 9 games in the early window. So I put the 4 main games on, and then I go in and I go to a Sunday ticket, and then I bounce off of each game to another game. It'll be like a Bears-Texans game or a Chargers-Browns game, right? Like a downshift game. Not a great game, but I want to keep my eye on it. And so I toggle. So I'm watching 8 games at once. I mean, I'm literally nonstop pushing the remote controls. And I just hit preview right here on the remote control. Right there, folks, where it says preview, boom, 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 bang, preview. That's all I do. Preview. And it goes, I don't watch commercials. I don't watch punts. I don't watch kickoffs. I don't watch field goals. Okay. As soon as I see the kicker line up for a field goal, preview. I'm going to the other game. And a lot of times doing that, I'll catch I'll get there right in time for the touchdown. They're in the red zone and boom, the guy's celebrating. Okay, cool. I get the replay. It's a whole thing. I would love you guys to come watch football with me on Sunday. I'm like a television director in the control room, right? That's all I'm doing. So I can't watch the London game in that window. I'm too busy watching the 8 games all at one time. And so you say, what about that 9th game? I DVR it and I watch it on Sunday night. I watch the London game on Sunday night with Sunday Night Football. So I got Sunday Night Football, the extra early game, and then the London game. And then wifey has the lower left TV with sound to watch reality shows and whatever she wants to watch. That's how we rock here, okay? And then the late games, I like the late window a lot because it's usually only 4 games. I got 4 TVs, boom, I'm covered. And you don't have to do all the toggling and stuff like that. It's a whole thing, though. I have a really good time with it. And I talk with Holden and Pilar on Sundays about, I don't check scores. I don't check box scores because I'm literally just cookie monstering football. I just consume football all day because to me, it's more important to watch the games, watch developments, how players are used, how players are looking. Are they playing hurt? Are they looking zippy and bursty? All that kind of stuff. It's the eye test. So that to me is very, very important. And it's your one opportunity to get it because the week gets fast. Now we're in the week and you can't go back and watch stuff. You got to consume it all on Sunday. That's my process. And then I look at box scores and then I look at my scores of my fantasy games. Okay. That's just my methodology. And I'm a little bit weird. And you say, how do you do that, man? You just ignore Twitter all day? Mm-hmm. Yep. I ignore Twitter all day. That's how I do it. I'm not on Twitter. Why am I going to be on Twitter when I'm missing, Trevor Lawrence throw a touchdown pass to Christian Kirk? And I look up and they went to break and I come back and it's Jackson's got a touchdown on the board. How the hell did they score that touchdown? I don't know, dummy. You were on your phone on Twitter. That's why I don't do that. You guys can do that, but you're not, paid to be a sports host like me. It's part of my methodology, man. Watching a game is extremely important to me. All right. So we're over on Aaron Rodgers here at 231.5. And because we're over on this, I'm also over on Romeo Doubs at 47.5. Think about this. Aaron Rodgers' number is 231.5. Romeo Doubs is at 47.5. Alan Lazard is at 45.5. This is easy money, yo. If we combine Doubs and Lazard, we're not even getting to 100 yards. And Rodgers' total is up at 231.5. Okay, help me out. Who is going to bridge the gap from 92 yards all the way up to 231.5? That math is way off from Las Vegas. If Rodgers is at 231.5, Doubs needs to be in the 60s. Lazard needs to be in the 60s or 70s. This is easy money, yo. Doubs at 47.5, over. Lazard at 45.5, over. I mean, it's easy money, baby. Easy money. And think about this. I see what Vegas is doing. I see what they're doing. 2 weeks ago, Lazard had 45 yards. Okay. So they put it at 45.5. And 45 kind of in the middle of the 13 and the 116. I see what they're doing there. But they're not taking into account like the spiking that's going on and the acceleration that's going on here. Dobbs, his number's 47.5. Last week he had 47 yards. The week before he had 73 yards. So they're kind of trying to pick a middle number here to get money on both sides. You know what's up. Play the over on these guys. Play all three. I'll say this. I feel better about Dobbs going over and Lazard going over than I do Rodgers going over. I'll say that. These are small, tiny numbers. Who else? Look, they're giving this one away, man. They're giving this one away. And here's the other thing. If you play Dobbs and Lazard as a package deal, you will not lose both bets. You will not. I promise. I virtually promise you're going to win both of them, but I promise you will not lose both of them. All right, you play Dobbs, you play Lazard. One of them loses, you split. You push. Big deal. We got all kinds of other props here. And I'm going to start giving them to you as we move along here. Let's take a quick break, our last break of the night. Got about a half hour left. And so we'll kick up here with Josh Allen. His number is 275.5. Am I going over? Am I going under on the great Josh Allen? I'll tell you next. It's Rick Kamla on Bettor Sports Live.
Sports Network.
Else here, our very first guest ever, the Action Network. Darren, thanks so much for doing this, man.
Of course, anytime I could be the first guest on anything, not to downgrade you, but yeah, no, this is great.
Darren, if I can go back to this Mickey Mantle thing real quick, this $12.6 million, do you think that would have been like 20 if this happened like 6 months ago?
This makes sense. I mean, you have such a beautiful card. The story about they couldn't get rid of these things because it was the high numbers. And the whole story on the mantle, like basically it was the high numbers. So it was the second set of cards that came out. Kids had already moved on. And then like by 53, they're like, wait, that's the old ones. That's 52. And they couldn't really sell any of them. So they dumped them off the barge. And, so you had a scarcer versions of the 52 cards. Listen, I think crypto had people spending a ton of money, obviously. And so I think there's probably a little bit of a downturn, but I think where you see most of the downturn is things that don't make sense. And, to me, I just think, yes, there's still things that I'm just absolutely shocked about. But even in memorabilia, even by looking at Heritage last night, man, I think I had $59,000 in bids that all lost. It seems pretty healthy out there in the collectibles market.
Tell us about this Hugh Hefner Viagra pill container. You know what I'm saying? I've heard the stories about it. How did is it prescribed? Did you go to was it that CBS filled it? Like what? Like how did you come across that? That's a cool piece.
Yeah, listen, people think it's funny, but like it is what it is. I just saw it. There was a estate sale from his ex-wife Julian's Auctions, and his pill bottle was up there. And it said it was worth $1,000. And I was like, I don't think it's worth $1,000. I mean, it's the greatest party trick of all time to show. It is his real pill bottle from the pharmacy. Hefner, you, take 1 pill prior to sex, 2 if needed. It's great. No pills inside. But I did spend $8K on it, and the way people, I wish you would have told me you were going to tell. I would have brought it here with me. But it's in a vault, and when I know that I need to pull some trick at a party or something, I might bring it out. But it's a good item. You need one of one stuff. I think that in this world, I think it's worth it to protect yourself in getting one of one stuff. It doesn't have the same liquidity because you can't say, oh, that sold yesterday for this. But I have comfort in
that. Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Bettor Sports Network.
Okay. Are you not entertained? You all are entertaining the hell out of me. Dave Poland, Jalen, Heavy T, Better Boss. Appreciate you all being out here in our chat section. Ricky Props back in here, giving you some props for this week 5 in the National Football League. We were 7-2 last night. giving you some prop bets for 65% on the season. I'm a very competitive guy. My personal numbers mean a lot to me with my diamond ratings across all 4 sports and Yahoo. And I'm literally a lot of my work and my grinding. It's about winning championships, and here it's about helping you. It's also about keeping my numbers up, man. Look, if I were a running back, I'd want to be 1,000-yard back. If I were a hitter, I'd want to hit 300. I mean, if I'm a prognosticator, I want to keep some good numbers going here. And so far, so good. We're going to take an L here tonight. I gave you the Mets here tonight. We're going to take a loss on that. But I was 16-8 on baseball advice during the season on moneyline plays. So we'll try to get back to a hot streak with you here. Scherzer is getting lit up. 6 earned in 4 1/3. And Yu Darvish on the other end is just mowing them down, man. So this is not going the way I thought it. Look, I want to prepare you as if you weren't prepared already. The Major League Baseball playoffs are wildly unpredictable. Like wildly unpredictable. It's baseball. Baseball is the weirdest sport that we have. Basketball is not weird. Basketball tends to be very chalky. Football can get a little weird from time to time. You know, like remember that Cardinals run when they lost to the Steelers? Like that was weird. When, you know, a couple of the Giants runs when Eli led them to a championship, those were weird. You beat the undefeated Patriots and, you know, all that kind of stuff. There's a wild card. You had to win all these games on the road. Like, yeah, that's a weird run. It is. But in baseball is the most unpredictable of them all. That looked like Manny Machado with an absolute laser beam. And it was. I could tell right off. Like just, I didn't see who was hitting because I'm like doing the show here, but I could just tell by the swing of the bat and the line drive missile, like the ball barely got over the shortstop's head and it cleared the wall in left field. And Showalter out of the dugout right now, and he's going to bring the hook out for Max Scherzer. I presume he hasn't tapped an arm yet. He's looking out to the bullpen. Take the ball from him, Buck. He clapped his hands, and Scherzer's out of the game with a dejected look on his face. 7-0 Padres. 7-0. 7-0. This is crazy. I can't believe the Mets are getting beat 7-0 in a Scherzer game at home against the Padres in the playoffs. This team won 101 games. 101 games against an 89-win team without their best player. Just kind of going through the motions here in a ragtag National League. They were able to get up to 89 wins and make the wild card. And now they're beating the damn Mets. 7-0 on Max Scherzer. Wow. All I can say is, wow. Okay, let's get back to the props here. I got Josh Allen going under 275.5. That's right, under. Dawson Knox is out. Gabriel Davis is playing hurt. And Isaiah McKenzie, I believe, is trending towards playing, but he's questionable, trying to clear the concussion protocol, hasn't cleared it yet. And so this is a math thing. If Knox were in, if Davis were full, and if McKenzie were full, right, we'd be having a different conversation here. But the math doesn't work. He doesn't have the weapons to get to 275.5 for me. I don't see how this works. Let's say Diggs has 125 yards. Homie, we still got 150 yards to go. How are we getting those 150 yards with Gabriel Davis on one leg, no Dawson Knox, and we might or might not have McKenzie, and we know we're not going to have Jamison Crowder? Your boy Khalil Shakir is getting us there? Come on. The math doesn't work, folks. It doesn't. This number is too high. 275.5 on Josh Allen. Take the under. Josh Allen has been over this number in 3 or 4 games this year. He has. He's gone 297, 317, 400, and 213 last week. Okay, so that's a trend that works against what I'm telling you right here. Here are 2 trends that work in favor of what I'm telling you right here. The Steelers are not good against the pass. They're 21st in the NFL, but they don't suck against the pass. They're hanging in there. They're not like the Ravens giving up 300 yards per game. They're giving up 251.5 yards per game. Let's say the Steelers remain chalky and give up 251 to Josh Allen. We're 24 yards below the total, okay? And also, Josh Allen historically does not go big against Pittsburgh. In 3 career meetings, he is at 216 yards per game. There's a lot of indicators here that take me under 275.5. That's where I'm at with Josh Allen. Now, this is going to be a little bit ironic here because I'm going under on, well, I think Patrick Mahomes and Allen in terms of front runner for MVP. But I'm going under on Allen. I'm going over on Carson Wentz. That's right. I'm going over on Carson Wentz. Wentz and the Commanders are a matchup-based outfit. There will be no Jahan Dotson this week. Okay, I'm not tripping on that. That doesn't steer me off of the over on Wentz at 235.5. Carson Wentz this year, you got to look into the home road splits, and you got to look into the opponents too. Okay, in 2 matchups this year against Jacksonville and Detroit, good matchups. Wentz has 650 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. All of that is in 2 games. That's 325 yards a game in good matchups. Remember, it's 325 per game in good matchups. Against Philly and Dallas, very good defenses. Carson Wentz has a total of 381 yards. So that's 190 yards per game versus 325, a matchup-based scenario. Tough matchup, don't play Carson Wentz or take the under. Good matchup, take the over. It's not that hard. Terry McLaurin is going to have a breakout game, folks. I promise. And I'll get to him in a minute and go into more detail on him in a minute. Curtis Samuel, I don't have his prop for you, but I believe he's going to have a nice game. I really do. He's got a 2-game scoring drought. I think that comes to an end. He's got 26 catches on the year. And so he's been very, very involved, high target volume, and he is going to be a heavy hitter for Carson Wentz. Logan Thomas, I did see that he's a little bit questionable, but I believe he will play. We'll see on Sunday. You can throw the ball to Gibson. You can throw the ball to Brian Robinson, who's going to make his return this week. And you can throw the ball to McKissick. There are the weapons available for Carson Wentz to get there. And, oh, by the way, Tennessee's pass defense is butt rotten. We know this to be true. So it's a great matchup for Carson Wentz. Tennessee is 28th in the NFL against the pass, giving up 274 yards per game. Wentz is at home. He's going to be comfortable against the Titans, and he's going to throw for over 235.5. I'm telling you, bang the over on this one. Terry McLaurin, 58.5. Ooh, nice low number for Ricky Props. I told you, a lot of this comes down to, I do see some high numbers and say, nah, the math doesn't work. A lot of times what I'm looking for is a number lower than I think it should be. Let's go over that number. That's my methodology here, primarily with totals. Pardon me, prop bets. Terry McLaurin has been a letdown this year. He has. He had 2 catches for 15 yards last week. He has 0 touchdowns in the last 3 games. Okay, this is not what people signed up for the Terry McLaurin experience. Is he going to have a breakout game this week? The answer is yes. No Jahan Dotson and the Tennessee defense that I was telling you about right there. And so all of this is going to conspire to McLaurin going 75, 85, 90. It's going to be a number well over 58.5. I feel very, very good about that. To go take the over on Wentz, take the over on McLaurin, and you'll be happy and you'll thank me next week. Justin Herbert, 273.5. Okay, I'm going over on this one. Justin Herbert, first of all, I applaud the toughness. Way to go, young fella. You got the rib injury, you got the cartilage thing. It's got to be painful as hell. But this is what you do, Kyler Murray. This is what you do, Lamar Jackson. You don't miss games with injuries. You don't have the right to do that. You don't have the privilege to do that. You're a quarterback in the National Football League. Hell, I don't care. You're a quarterback in college football. And it's different in college football. They like to protect the kid and hold him out and all this stuff. This is the NFL. And I'm going to need you to rub some dirt on it and get back out there. With a broken bone. Yes, with a broken bone. Romo's played with a broken back. Stafford's played with a broken back. Rodgers played last year with a broken toe. Remember Mahomes the year where he had the toe that needed surgery, running around in the Super Bowl and all that. Your job is to play hurt and give your team what you have no matter what. It's a hang-up of mine with Kyler Murray. It's a hang-up of mine with Lamar Jackson, missing the games that they have missed. Lamar Jackson missed 5 games last year, season over. And he had an ankle injury that did not require surgery. I have a problem with that. I'm going to need you to play. Well, Cam, he's a running quarterback. He needs to be dynamic running the football. Make it work. Are they better with a maimed Lamar Jackson or Tyler Huntley? I'll wait. I'd rather have a maimed Lamar Jackson than a full-strength Tyler Huntley. I would. Maybe I'm different. Anyway, Justin Herbert at 273.5. Going over on this one. He's been over the number all 4 games this year. How about that? 279, 334, 297, 340. Keenan Allen has barely played in those games, and he's still going over every single time. That's a very, very strong indicator for us here. Cleveland's pass defense is good, but it's not shut down. They're 12th, allowing 212 yards per game. But they haven't played Justin Herbert and the shredder that he is, and the Chargers who throw the ball every single time, right? They're like Will Rogers and the Mike Leach offense down there at Mississippi State. They don't run the damn ball. They throw the ball to running backs, and they throw the ball every single time. I love me some Will Rogers in college football fantasy, and I think he's going to be a heck of a future pro. Justin Herbert's only meeting against Cleveland was last year, and he went off for 398 yards and 4 touchdowns. I believe it was last year. I didn't write that down, but in just the memorization of doing all this work, I'm pretty sure it was last year. If it wasn't last year, it was the year before. But it was recent, and it matters. It wasn't like back in 2005, Justin Herbert did this. No, it was recent. I think it was last year. 398 and 4. Dave Poland says about Will Rogers, the air raid, Mike Leach telling his players to elope. I don't even know what you, Dave, what the hell do you mean by that? I don't even know what that means. I missed that story. I missed that headline during the week or something like that. Anyway, I got the over on Justin Herbert here at 273.5. Here's the drive by the Mets to the wall and gone. It is Escobar. Yeah, you helped me win a couple of championships. Late season pickup. Boy, he got hot late in the year, folks. He got hot like fire. How bad was he the first half of the year? I mean, just terrible, despicable. And he's blowing kisses to the cameras. The camera's running with him to home plate in the dugout. Settle down. Settle down. What are they saying right now in San Diego? Scoreboard, scoreboard. It's 7-1, bro. Hang on. Just hang on. Reel it in a little bit. Justin Herbert over 273.5. Aaron Jones. Let's get to him. Aaron freaking Jones. 58.5. Where am I going? They keep you in suspense. I'm going over. I'm going over on Aaron Jones at 58.5. Aaron Jones this year is averaging, stop blowing kisses, Eduardo Escobar. You're down 7-1. He's like, blowing kisses. I'm blowing kisses. Bro, your pitcher just got murdered. You're down 7-1, and you're blowing kisses. Stop it. He's still doing it. Right now, in this moment, he's still doing it in the dugout, down 7-1. What is going on here? Dude, you're down 7-1 in a 3-game series. You're basically kind of already looking cooked right now. I'm blowing kisses and I'm blowing kisses and I'm blowing kisses. Jeez, give me a break, man. That's some stupidity right there. I'm blowing kisses. I'm blowing kisses. We're down 7-1 in a 3-game wild card series. We're getting doors blown right now. Dave Poland's saying, he's blowing kisses down 7-1. What the F? Better Boss says, Ricky props. I'm with you on Wentz and McLaurin. Easy money, even if I only bet a dime. I like that right there. I like that a lot. Oh, my God. I'm looking up at the TV one more time because they got it on Manny Machado. I'll play in the field. Take the camera off Eduardo Escobar. He's embarrassing himself and his family in Mets Nation. My God. Blowing kisses down 7-1. You got to be effing kidding me, man. The Mets are done. Like, if that's their whole vibe, I mean, they're done. I don't really mean that. It's sarcastic. Okay, so Aaron Jones here. I'm going over at 58.5. He's averaging 81.5 this year. The New York Giants, are you sitting down, are giving up 141 rushing yards per game. They're getting slaughtered on the ground. Aaron Jones' flow this year, 49 yards, then 132 yards, then 36 yards, then 110 yards. Okay, so he's been 2 up and 2 down on this number. The 2 games where he's been down have been on the road. This is not a road game. This is a neutral field game, okay? So that, to me, is advantage Jones. And to me, the home road splits kind of work in his favor because it's not a road game. It's a neutral field game. And I have found, like, tell me if you have the same vibe as well on Aaron Jones. Does Aaron Jones score on national television or not? Think about Packer games that you watch on national television. Does Aaron Jones tend to have big games in those games or small games in those games? I have found that he has big games on national TV. He had a big game against against Chicago in week 2, 132 yards. He goes off on national TV. He does. He's just that guy. He's a 1,000-watt guy. He's got the cool sunglasses on the sideline and the chains and the whole thing. It's just, it's his whole vibe. The bigger the stage, the better he plays. Go over on Aaron Jones at 58.5. You will not be sorry. I'm giving you, Ricky Props, giving you right here on Bettor Sports Network. Saquon Barkley at 77.5. Again, which way am I going? Which way am I going? Am I zigging? Am I zagging? Am I going under? Am I going over? That's where I'm going. I'm going over 77.5. Is there a running back in the National Football League playing better than Saquon Barkley right now? I know what you're going to say. Cam, Nick Chubb is the best running back in the NFL right now. Okay, that's cool. Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, we get it, all that kind of stuff. But like Chubb's kind of looking like the manish right now. But Saquon Barkley, I'll say it this way. He's the best running back in the NFC right now. 77.5 yards. Pretty big number. It is. I don't love the number, but it's a great matchup. Check this out. Green Bay is allowing 126 yards per game on the ground. 126. And we're 4 weeks in, folks. They're not good stopping the run. They're very good at stopping the pass. They're not good at stopping the run. Advantage us. Saquon Barkley literally is the Giants' offense. They are going to feed him the rock no matter what. And all he needs to get to 77.5 is one big play. And I don't mean he's going to run for a 78-yard touchdown. I'm talking about like the typical Saquon Barkley chunk play. 43 yards, bursts through. He's at the second level, makes a guy miss. A safety jukes him. Boom, he's down the sideline. And then the safety comes over and angles him out of bounds. 47-yard gain. We're there. Because he's going to get the ball so many other times in the game. 1 yard here, 3 yards here, 5 yards here, 7 yards here, 1 yard here, -1 here, -2 here, 5 more, 8 more. We get to 77.5. Telling you, take the over on this one. His flow this year has gone 164, 72, 81, 146. He's been over this number in 3 out of 4, and he barely missed this number in that week 2 game, which was, I believe, Carolina at home, if memory serves. And I was watching that game. They were running the ball out late. I mean, he just came short. By the way, he's 4 for 4 going over on his number this year. He leads the NFL, Saquon Barkley does, at 115.8 rushing yards per game. Did you know that? Saquon Barkley leads the National Football League in rushing yards per game at 115 per game. All we have to do is get to 77.5. Go over on Saquon Barkley and his rushing total for this week's game over there in London. Ricky Props still in here giving you all props. I told you I have 15 of them for you, okay? Play them all. If I had the ability to do it, I would play them all. I'd put 20 on each, 50 on each, whatever, my wife allowed or whatever my bankroll allowed. But I would play the whole field here. Here's my thinking with this. I literally grind every prop. I look at every prop. I vet every prop. I don't like digging into the numbers of every prop, but I look at every prop. Like it, don't like it, like it, like it, like, don't like it. Nope. I look at every single prop on DraftKings.com. Okay. So I'm looking through, I saw, what was it? Tom Brady, I think, had a 0.5 rushing yard prop. I mean, that's funny, right? 0.5, like half a yard. Literally, that's his prop. You can bet on that. So I feel good about these. These are vetted. These are vetted, baby. I am messing around here. I literally, if I had the ability to play, I would bet these. And it'd probably be like 20 on all of them. And then I'm hoping to go like 10 and 5, right? Boom, I'm making money. But I don't plan on ever being less than like 500. We've had a couple of nights here. We had 1 week where I was like 9 and 8. It's as bad as it's going to get here with your boy Cam. So I would just welcome you to play them all. Just bang them all right here and try. What I'm trying to do is go like 13 and 2. Like last night I went 7 and 2, right? Like that's a money making night. You play 9 props, you win 7 of them. Bam, we're taking some money away from the book right now. That's my methodology. I would be playing all these. I'd be playing all 15 of these bets and taking my chances and just like trusting the intel, trusting the research, trusting the wisdom that I am going, trusting the hard work, the sweat equity that the time put in is going to lead to more winners than losers. I'm just a firm believer in that. Breece Hall, I'm going over on him. His number is 47.5. Breece Hall at 47.5. And it's his backfield right now, people, right? Right? I'd like to think it is. It sure seems like it's trending in that direction. His flow in terms of carries has gone 6, then 7, then 8, and last week 17. That sure feels like a backfield takeover to me, and it really fits with the preseason speculation. All right, they're going to mess around with Michael Carter. They love to start the season with vets, make the rookie earn it, and then the rookie outplays the vet, and the rookie by about week 3 or 4 gets the job, right? I mean, it's been a time in memoriam. We've seen this play out. So Breece Hall now is like, I am here. It's my backfield. Now, clearly, Carter's still going to be involved in like a third of the backfield share kind of thing, but this is Breece Hall's backfield right now, and it should be. He's way more talented than Michael Carter. It's not even close. Breece Hall was by far the most talented running back in the 2022 draft. It was not close. He was the only running back I had a first-round grade on in this draft. So last week, he goes 17, 66, and 1. 17, 66, and 1. All right. Miami is okay against the run. They're not great. They're not terrible. They're a little above average. They're 12th against the run, giving up 103 per game. All right. We got to get to 47.5. That number is in our favor. Breece Hall has topped this number twice already in limited time. Okay. So that's an indicator for us. Even when he's going 6 carries, 7 carries, 8, he went over the number one of those times. Now that he's going to be getting between 15 and 20 carries, I believe. Come on, man. 47.5. That number cannot contain Breece Hall. No way. I predict that this is going to be a Breece Hall breakout game. Like last week, he scored the game-winning touchdown, right? Okay, that's cool. I'm talking about, I think, boom, we get like 105 and a touch, right? Like a really good game. Yeah, I'm feeling Breece Hall now, like busting off a long run and like really looking good, and like the takeovers really here. All right, how many do I have left? And let's look at how much time I got. Do I need to speed up? No, we're in good shape here. Got about 4 minutes left in the show. Tricky props up in here, giving you some prop bets, man. We're 65% on the season giving you prop bets, and I'm trying to billow these numbers and make them even a little stronger. Mike Evans. Oh, baby, giddy up on Mike Evans. This might be the best bet of the entire weekend. I love Mike Evans. 56.5. We're going over on this one. Might be the best bet of the weekend, people. His flow this year, 71 yards over, 61 yards over, 103 yards over this number, well over this number all 3 times. Last week, 10 targets, 8 grabs, 103, 2 touchdowns. Mike Evans, hear me roar, flex on him. There is nothing the Falcons are going to do about Mike Evans. Nothing. They're 25th against the pass, giving up 260 yards per game through the air. And all we need is 56.5. How dare you, Las Vegas? Stop smoking weed at all the dispensaries out there before you make these betting lines. Actually, don't, because we're making money off of your stuff right now. Evans always kills Atlanta. He averages 82 yards per game in 16 career meetings against the Falcons. All we got to do is get to 56.5. I freaking love Mike Evans over in this. I mean, put a stack on it. It's like that. Chris Godwin, I'm over him as well at 59 yards. Last week, 10 targets, 7 grabs, 59 yards, and no score. He had a snap count of 83%. That probably goes up. Chris Godwin is back, okay? Brady has his banky back. He's got his security blanket back, and he is going to continue to go to him, okay? Evans and Godwin are going to get the lion's share of the targets. Godwin's going to be even better this week against Atlanta. Godwin, like Evans, always kills Atlanta. He averages 84 yards per game in 9 career meetings against the Falcons. 84. All we need to do is get to 59. Bang on this one. Christian Kirk is another one I want to give you, and then I got 2 more before we get out of here. Christian Kirk over on 66.5. He's already been a moneymaker for us. I've been on Christian Kirk since week 1, but giving you the over on this, and we've been nailing it, okay? His flow this year has gone 117, 78, 72, and 60. And last week it was 2 grabs, 60 yards, but we knew that was going to be a bad game against Philadelphia, okay? No problem there. Houston allows 240 yards per game. He's the clear number 1 for Lawrence. Take the over on Christian Kirk at 66.5. Chris Olave, 62.5. Take the over on that, okay? He's the clear number 1. Thomas is not going to play. He's got 36 targets in 4 games against Seattle. Seattle's 29th against the pass, giving up 274 passing yards per game. Over on Chris Olave at 62.5. And finally, Jamar Chase, 69.5. How dare you, Las Vegas? Chase's flow has gone 129, 54, 29, 81. He goes well over this number. It's Baltimore. They're the worst pass defense in the NFL, giving up 300 plus yards per game through the air. Burrow is rolling over the last 2 weeks. Take the over on Jamar Chase at 69.5. Big thanks to Tyler Soto and Anthony Rivera behind the glass, Dylan Short, Jeff Cadillac, all of you for hanging out with me on a Friday night. I will see you on Monday. Peace. Have a great weekend.